Are we live? Can you hear me? Am I connected to my Bluetooth? If not, I am now. CPM, hello, hello. Can you come in? Hey, Staggy. Staggy, I've got some. I was going to send you a video actually of me struggling down the stairs, um, heading off to the post office with your parcel finally. I'll send you the link in a little while. Hello, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. You all right?
Yeah, I'm really good. I was just trying to get this video to launch. It's quite fiddly on the old phone. I think I've done it. I think I'm in the right live with the right, few minutes warning thing. I think it actually works. But what happens on the phone is the button you need to launch is covered by, like on the Samsung, your back button, your home button, and your imaging button. So you can't
Oh
press
yeah.
it. You're trying to roll your finger over the edge of the glass to try and get it to launch, which is why normally I fail miserably and then just launch a new live again and leave everyone sitting in the lobby. But I think I've done it. I think I've done it. I just kept pressing buttons until it came on.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit weird. How are you anyway?
Yeah, really good, mate. Really good. Had a busy
Excellent.
day, but
Excellent.
hey ho, it's
Okay.
good to
Oh,
be
got some.
busy. It has to be said,
Yes, you've been
dude.
busy.
This is a typical whiskey Wednesday for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why I
because
thought
what
we'd
I've
do.
done.
When we said about having a little chat on a live, that to do it on a Wednesday at 7 o'clock would be quite fitting to get us both in. You've been having a little play around with your studio, haven't you?
I have, mate. Yeah, and I've set up tonight. So we've. I know you like Perth Mint stuff.
I do have a
So
particular penchant for the old
so
Perth
I
Mint stuff. Blimey, you got some
yeah.
stuff out now, haven't you? Oh,
So I
you've made
thought
my pocket change now.
I literally thought I would put out all my, well, not all of it, but most of my Perth Mint collection.
Very nice. I don't think there's a single coin or bar there I wouldn't turn down. Oh,
Dude, I
of
was
course,
putting
you've
them
got that. Go on.
before I get started.
Oh, whiskey, of course. I'm sad.
I,
I've got a cup of tea.
I've just had a cup of tea and I thought, oh, it's Whiskey Wednesday. Well, it's not Whiskey Wednesday. I'm on your channel, but
I
it's
thought of is
Wednesday. Yeah, it's
retribution. Look
Wednesday,
at that.
and yeah, this is an English whiskey actually, and it's very very strong. So I've got to be very careful how much I drink. I'm only going to have a little drop, but cheers to you. Thank you for letting me come on your channel, and cheers to everyone that's joining in.
Yeah, we've got to say hello to a few people. I've got my computer screen on so I can see the chat, not like an old man, and haven't even got to wear my glasses. Silver Stag, hello there, mate. As I said, I sent your piece off today. I'll send you the tracking for that later. But that took a lot of effort for me to get my fat ass off the sofa and go to the post office. But that's done. Will's Bullion, my little brother. He's a chap that I met on Facebook or something somewhere, and he looks a bit like me. Obviously, he's a younger, slimmer, far more handsome version of me. But that's Will's Bullion Coin. BBA, nice to see you here, my man. Nice evening, Coin Noob Matt. Okay. Oh, even the Coin Noob Ad Matt. I think we are saying hello to my Coin Noob Matt there. I thought I was having a bit of thingy moment. Shiny Stacker, hello there, buddy. Very good to see you. Who else we got in here? They're all saying hello to each other, which is nice. Did you turn any silver down, Griff? I don't think I have actually. No, I really don't think I have. Stephen, God's money. How are you, young man? Greetings to you as well. Feel free to. There's no structure tonight, guys. It's just me and Andy yabbling on. So feel free to pipe up and have opinions. We don't really have a schedule or a plan. We'll start with silver and see where we end up. There's nothing off the table really. Just try not to get too political or anything like that. You know what I mean? I don't want to get kicked off my channel. But yeah, there's yeah. You know, you know what I mean? There's nothing controlled here, and that's all I'm going to say on that subject. Yeah, really, really good. So you've had a lot of. Is that how your setup's going to be from now on, or is it a work in progress,
I
Andy?
think it. I think it's going to be a work in progress, mate. Really, to be fair, I obviously I've had a clear out in the studio, and I thought I'd build a little corner, try and make something a little bit different for tonight. And what I really, really enjoyed, mate, is most of this stuff I haven't looked at for ages. And
Mm.
I thought, oh, what can I put out? Griff really likes his Perkman stuff, and I obviously do, as you can probably tell. Um,
Mm.
so I just thought, oh, bang, I'll put it out. And I sat last night setting it all out, and I was just looking at everything. I'm just thinking, wow, how lucky am I? You know, how lucky, how flipping lucky am I to have this gorgeous stuff?
You forget, don't you? I've got once I've filled one of these boxes, of which I have quite a lot. Some every now and again, because I like to enter things onto a spreadsheet as soon as I get them. But sometimes you get a bit stuck, or you're a bit busy, or whatever, and stuff tends to build up on the coffee table. And I think, oh God, what have I entered and what have I haven't entered, and all this kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
every now and again, I have a bit of an audit, shall we say, and I'll go through each box one by one, ticking it off my spreadsheet that I've added it. And
yeah,
invariably, there's three or four pieces that I've forgotten to add, which is always a Brucey bonus to watch your total go up. But just going through the stuff that I bought, 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, it's like, wow, no wonder I bought that. It's amazing. What a marvelous taste I have. It's
yeah.
really good to go through stuff and yeah, see what you bought. And some of the pieces I think, where on earth was I going with this? But I don't regret anything I bought. Do you regret anything you bought? Are you just thinking about it, or are we having a technical issue? Bear with us, folks. Where are we? Let me make sure my microphone is on. Can you guys still hear me? Can you hear me? Just let me know in the chat if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you, mate.
Oh, there you are. I've got you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm using some Beat headphones, and they just keep cutting in and out for some reason. I don't know why, but
That's okay. I've
can you hear
abandoned
me?
my
Or
headphones. Yeah, I can hear you now. Can everybody else hear me and Andy in the chat? Let us know if you can't. Hello, Bo. How are you? Good to see you here. I'm going to see if I can move the chat down without breaking anything. More people say, oh, you can all hear each other. That's good. Silverstag, yes. Can hear you
wicked.
both now. There we go. We're both back on.
Hey, sorry, mate. What was you saying?
I was just saying, is there any pieces that you've gone, oh, God, why did I buy that?
Probably. Oh, crikey! Now, a great question. So I'm trying to think. Probably. This will sound ridiculous,
No, whatever it is.
but I bought some kilo silver coins,
Mhm.
and they're lovely. They're like the Queen's Beast, the Mustang from the Bullmen, and the
Oh, yeah.
Phoenix from the Bullmen, and you pay quite a premium on it. And so, as lovely they are to look at, I do sometimes, or I've really questioned myself when I've bought or put that sort of investment into one piece rather than putting it into
Yeah.
loads of pieces. So, as much as I don't regret it from a beautiful eye candy point of view, but when I look at my Perth Mint collection, I could have added quite a few more kookaburras.
Yeah. What, in the kilo size?
No, definitely just in the 1 ounce size because I haven't got the complete date run yet.
Yeah.
So sometimes impulsively, probably in the earlier part of my stacking journey, I've probably impulsively bought something without really thinking about what my long term goal is, or. But I think that's just part of the journey, really, dude.
I think so. I never really started with a plan other than I wanted like 10 Britannias. Once I'd learned about collecting bullion, because I was just collecting, as I said, the Royal Mint PA for £2 coins. I didn't even know about Britannias or bullion until I just happened to come across Backyard Bullion's channel and bought my first little Gothic crown, which was a bit of an incredible start, really. And then I just bought like 10 Britannias, and it sort of went from there. I've never really had a goal or something I was looking for. As you start watching more and more content creators, you see different things, and I very quickly realised how good the quality of Perth Mint coins tend to be. And yeah, I just went down like a Perth. I mean, I've got all the other stuff as well, but Perth Mint, I must admit, is my favourite silver. Really, they really do show the raw mint up, don't they? Really.
Just 100%, 100%. It's. I can't even remember the first. It might have been a kookaburra I bought first from the Perth Mint. I really can't remember now, buddy. And when you compare just the overall quality finish, I don't know. There's just something about it, and I just fell in love. And obviously, as you can see, I just built that up over time. And if I'm ever going to spend any sort of money now, I'd always go to the other than my other date ones that I do. I would pick the Perth Mint every time if I like it.
Oh, I don't blame you. A lot of people rave about the Germanium Mint, and there's a couple of coins of theirs that I've got, the Gullum Bursty and all them weird and wonderful things with the infinity capsules. But I don't know. I just like Perth Mint stuff. With you collecting, when you first started collecting all the silver, what made you start thinking about doing a YouTube channel?
Oh man, that was really interesting. Actually, I obviously everyone knows I've got a studio, and
Mhm.
they used to do photography, bud, and as that started off as a hobby, turned semi-pro with it. There's a big story behind that, but obviously I started stacking, and then I just thought, oh, I wonder if I can try and be creative and show some of my coins in a photographic way
Oh, right, yeah.
and start a YouTube channel. And all my kids give me grief. My wife gave me grief. She said, "What are you doing? Grow up, you stupid
What
man."
you doing, you silly old sod? Yeah, yeah,
That's it. Yeah. I won't swear, don't worry.
yeah.
Um, and that just sort of grew, and I just sort of thought, I just wanted to enjoy the creativity of what I've always done, and maybe start a little bit of a journey with creative precious metals. And yeah, here we are today. With that journey has been really up and down and all over the place.
Mhm.
Yeah, that kicked off a real passion, And I said, I said to my kids at the time, I said, no one will watch it. I won't even get one subscriber. But one become two, become three, become four. Not that drives me overly, to be fair. Yeah, the rest has been a massive journey, mate. One which I've really thoroughly enjoyed. It's been full of ups and downs and here's and there's and changing of minds. And I think that's something that we all do. Maybe I don't know, but I've done it. But that's how I got started. Really, my passion of trying to be creative with stuff.
Yeah, who was around when you started?
Um, Draw obviously backyard bullying because he's been there forever. I think 365. I come across 365 pretty early, and the Stack Collector Future was bouncing around in the background, and the only other person was Cobra because Cobra started. I think the Stack Collector started a few months before me, and then Cobra started a few months before me as well. And that was about it really.
There's certainly a lot more now, isn't there? Probably um, down to, I mean, Stack of Social started on Telegram, didn't it?
It
Because
did,
I've
yes.
watched 365 for for quite a while. Backyard Bullion first, and obviously 365 after that. And yeah, that's sort of how I started. But what were you trying to do at the beginning? What were you trying to be different to what they were doing? Were you just completely focused on your own journey and what you wanted to show? Did you have a plan at the beginning?
What, as far as YouTube's concerned?
Yeah.
Probably right at the beginning, as I said, like I didn't even know anyone would be interested in what I'm doing. But then obviously my relationship developed with 365 was really encouraging. The Stat Collector was encouraging. Cobra, obviously I built up a great relationship up with Cobra. You know, we used to talk all the time, and we used to like come up with crazy ideas of what to do, what not to do. And I just let it develop, if I'm honest with you.
Mm.
Can I call you Griff?
Of course you can.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Griff. I just let it develop. I mean, there was lot. I mean, I'm not just interested in precious metals. I mean, as you know, I'm interested in all sorts of other things.
Mm.
But because it's physical, and it had that thing where I could be creative with the light, and you know, in the early stages, I started using sort of just natural backgrounds and bits of driftwood, bits of rock, trying to make, I don't know, trying to make it different. And it just so developed from there, really, to be honest.
Yeah, I remember 365 talking about you when before I'd even sort of met you or saw your channel, and he was saying, "Oh, go over and watch CPM. He's really creative. He's got stuff on the screen, and there's little bits of trees and bushes in the background and all that." I thought, "What is this guy going on about?" So
Yeah.
I came over, and like I've always said to you, your voice is kind of one of those ones you can listen to. Some people have got really annoying voices, probably me being one of them. But your voice has always sort of soothed me and made me want to listen to whatever it is you're talking about. I often joke with you when you're thinking about things to do. I say, mate, you could read the phone book out, and I'd listen. You know what I mean? Some people have just got that voice, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? That you don't mind,
Yeah.
listening to. And yeah, I was hooked from whenever you were doing those little clips with all the little, you had little plastic bushes and trees that you used to have in the
That's it, mate.
background,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, that's when I used to watch, and things obviously developed and changed, and I watched your video yesterday, your little sort of ramble, just about stuff, and the channel, and where you want to go. Like, it's just a constantly evolving thing. I'm always socially, or aware rather, of just being me and doing my little thing. You take inspiration from others, and you obviously see pieces that you think, oh God, they're nice. I wouldn't mind adding those to my collection. I don't mind admitting that I see things on other people's channels and I immediately go out and buy them.
Yeah.
But where I'm sort of sticking to a set thing where it's just normally my coin noob mat, and I'm just focusing on what I'm talking about, and I'm not really, maybe I'm in the wrong. I'm not really evolving. I'm personally, for me, I'm just enjoying collecting. I'm enjoying the research that I do, and then I'm enjoying filming it and giving just enough information about the piece. You know what I mean? But you've gone off in all sorts of different types of directions and things that you've tried, and I get it. I got it more after listening to your video yesterday, your vlog
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Just finding your own path. Do you know what I mean? I'm
Mm.
only conscious of not copying other people. I mean, we'll always end up copying each other because a lot of us buy the same pieces. So inevitably, you'll see similar pieces on lots of channels. But have you got any idea where you're going or what you're actually looking for, or will you know when you hit it? You know what I mean? Or you just haven't got a clue at all, and you're sort of aimlessly rambling around, waiting for something to sort of hit you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really good observation, really, which you've always, when we've spoken outside of all this, you've always talked about. Yeah, it's. I think I've quickly realised that everything that I do is all part of a personal journey too,
Hmm.
and it's finding yourself. It's finding what you really want in life and how you want to be, and I think I've probably lost myself a little bit in the YouTube thing,
Yeah.
and I probably just lost where who is Andy bit in this whole setup, and that's sort of been reflected in my general life anyway.
Hmm.
So that was what that ramble was about the other day, and I've just sat there and I just thought, okay, maybe it's time. I'm 60 years of age now. I'm obviously very passionate about silver, gold, investing. Da, 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 da. How can I just bring Andy out in all of this environment? And that is something that I'm really exploring now, and I'm kind of really feeling at home now. I've made that decision innerly.
Hmm.
Where
Yeah.
where it's gonna go, I have no idea.
Mm.
Um, there's no boundaries for me. It's as long as I can keep that morality going and being true to myself. I think I've just lost myself a little bit in everything,
Yeah.
Griff, to be honest, which I think we all could do sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
And I was thinking about it yesterday, actually, whilst I was at work, and I was thinking, God, my channel's never really had a definitive base. And you've said it, you've picked up on it quite a bit, because I chop and change and
Sorry
do
about
this,
that.
do that. No, 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 don't say sorry. I love it. I'm not going to deny it. You're absolutely right.
Hey,
But,
Cobra.
hey, Cobra's on. But yeah, it's just mad, man. It's mad. But I finally think, with what I'm doing on the What podcast, and now scaling down the studio and just really thinking about how can I bring out more about me into perhaps an entertaining way of showing silver and gold, particularly on this channel. I don't know. That's what I
Mm.
love about creativity. Creativity is a never-ending cycle of finding out stuff, and it's not, for me, it's not necessarily about just one piece of
Hmm.
that journey like this. It's not about this. It is about this, but it's not about this. It's about me behind this, and that's quite exciting for me, really. To be fair,
They are nice, aren't they?
oh mate, I love all
I
this
feel
stuff.
I feel like I feel like you've come to some realization that you're not cut out for this thing that we have to do with YouTube. We've got to be a certain
Mm,
way, say
yeah,
certain things, get involved in all the algorithms, say the right keywords, and all this kind of stuff that people seem to be tied into doing to get their figures and all this kind of stuff. I've never been worried about any of that.
yeah,
I upload what I want when I want. There's no time schedule. I know that's not good. YouTube wants you to do certain things at certain times, and I've just never
exactly.
that has never been me. You know what I mean? Personally, I
Yeah,
don't want to be tied down to certain times and certain things. I can enjoy them, and I used to love your Whiskey Wednesdays, obviously.
yeah,
But I've always felt pretty free, and I feel like you've sort of realised that that's not for you. That kind of structured way of doing things, and you have to have the right thumbnail, and you've got to have the right this and the right that, and you want to be sort of more free and fluid and creative and go wherever. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. I want to be a free spirit. That's what I've always believed in. And as soon as I feel myself like being tied down
Hmm.
into a constructive way, then it's not as if I don't enjoy it, but I just start to forget me,
Hmm.
within the constraints of doing that sort of thing. So yeah, it's quite exciting actually. I don't know where it's going to lead me. I don't know what I'm going to discover, where I'm going to go with it. But it's just so nice realizing that yeah, you're a free spirit. You can do what you want, and as long as you keep to the boundaries of what you believe in, it's that's what I want to explore, dude. Really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You want to bring us more of yourself into it rather than just here's
Yeah,
this, here's that.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I get it. I get it. I'm not necessarily as comfortable as that of doing that as you are. I feel quite safe just saying, oh, here's the latest stacker. You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. And it took a lot to sort of share a bit of my life story with you, which I used to love when you used to do people's life stories,
yeah.
and I've enjoyed many of them. Do you know what I mean? That one-on-one chat you get with somebody, or like when we do a little podcast together, or I sat and watched your chat with Cobra the other
Oh,
night. I must admit, I actually never heard of the chap in my
okay.
life. You know what I mean? I love a good debate, and as Cobra quite rightly said, he, little snippets of information are cut here, there, and everywhere, and you can make that person's, make that person out to be a right sort of violent, such and such, and whatever you want, with the right clips, can't you? But
Yeah.
taken out of context, you know what I mean? But I must admit, I never heard of the chap, but if he was, as Cope was saying, somebody that was just, he had his opinions, but was open to chatting and talking, I've never been one to say, right, this is the Koinu way, this is the Griff way, this is the right way, you must subscribe to what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? I love to be taught, or have my broaden my horizons type thing. I spend a lot of time on TikTok, just meeting people all over the world, you know what I mean? Not just collectors, all sorts of people. My mind is open to different languages, different cultures, different ways of life, different religions. I'm a same as Cobra. I'm a total atheist, but I'm still interested in learning that particular culture and why they do what they do. And if somebody can come along and change my mind or my opinion on something, I really do love it. I'm never like, how dare you think that? You must think the same as me. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
may well have been like that years ago, but I've changed so much. You realize, oh, that person's a bit upset with me. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't like what I've said or doesn't like my opinion, and you
Yeah.
know, it made me sit back and think when I'd lost a couple of friends, and I just sat back and had a bit of a break from social media for a while, and I just sort of reflected and realised that we are all very different. We all do have different goals and different dreams and different things we want to do, and listening to other people's gave me inspiration to do certain things. What, even with starting this, I was just watching a video from Christopher Collects earlier. He invited me onto his little unhuntables hunts he does. Everyone searches through 50p's and £2 coins and stuff, but he's got this weekly series where they look through 1p's and 2p's and 5p's
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
20p's looking for random stuff. And he's normally got a regular guest on there, another YouTuber called Grossy, but he's got a girlfriend at the moment, and we all know what happens when you get a girlfriend. All your friends get kicked to the curb, don't they?
Oh yeah.
So he's been having sort of random people on. So yeah, Christopher's a really cool chap as well, and he's made me think about, because I've been part of his Discord for a long time, and I was always very bit too blunt and upfront with people. And if I was trying to get my point across and somebody else was coming in with their point, I'd shut them down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he used to calm me down a lot, and just send me a private message saying, well, think about it from this point of view and blah blah blah. And he sort of made me be a bit more mellow about certain things. I'm still a twat, but I mean, I'm happy to listen to other people's opinions a lot more, and you learn so much from other people and their opinions, don't you? And why are you not fascinated why people do what they do? That's maybe completely opposite to what you believe and what you think. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
fascinating, isn't it? Absolutely fascinating.
It is, dude. As you know, I love to go into observation mode sometimes, and I just shut the crap up and just listen. And at that point, you really start to learn about, what people think and why they think like it. And
Mm.
it sometimes, I sit there and think, oh my God, I've been a right knobhead here. I didn't even think that, people would think
Yeah,
that way.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
so that's really good. That's good from my point of view. I grow from that. People's opinions are just so important. If we listen to them, and yeah, you're dead right, man. Dead right. So getting back, you asked me earlier,
Hmm.
why did you start a YouTube video? What was the
I,
driver for you, dude?
for me, it was really easy. Like I said, I watched Bullion 365, Cobra, all these different people were doing things, and I started to see, once I got my first Britannias, I started to see other stuff, and I wanted to collect it and all this kind of stuff. And I was finding it started off with the snackers were the first sort of different things I saw, and I was able to find somebody on one of the Facebook groups that was selling them for a really good price. And then I realized that when you make videos, you and I hate, and I'm the same as you. I don't like this word influencer, but if you make a video, you're influencing people. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And people were messaging me saying, "Oh, I saw that piece you were showing. I found it on, some weird site somewhere, and it cost me £140." And I thought, no, I paid £60 for these. What are you doing? So I just wanted to make a video, and all my early videos, I announce exactly what I paid and exactly where I bought it from. So I genuinely, the whole thing started, one, to share my passion about it, not in a flex kind of way. None of us really do this with. I'm not aware of anyone that does this in a flexy way.
Yeah.
Showing off any kind of. It's just we're all interested in the same thing, and we're sharing our passion. And I just wanted to try and get people to pay the best prices possible. So the first sort of 6 or 8 months, I was literally just telling people where to buy, what to buy, and the kind of prices they should be paying, because I was just so upset to see people paying double what I was paying, more than double.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it sort of went from there, and people. I'm always amazed that people watch. You know what I mean? If I get 10 views, I'm amazed. It's quite addictive. Not in a narcissistic way. I'm not sitting there thinking, "Oh, I want 10 million followers," blah blah blah. I would never imagine ever getting monetized or getting to that kind of level. I mean, you need 10,000 followers on TikTok, and I've got about 3,300, I think, because I've been going for 2 years. You know what I mean? It's grown quite naturally, and I'm
Yeah.
chuffed about that. I'm trying my little hand on YouTube, because I know there's a lot of people in the coin community that just refuse to go on TikTok for whatever reason. They reckon certain countries are spying on them and things like that. You know what some people like. And
Yeah.
so I just thought, you know what, I'm making the videos anyway. I'll just upload some of them to YouTube, and yeah, it's 340. It's all right. It's better than a kick in the teeth. You know what I mean? I'd,
Yeah.
I'd I'd like it to be more. Do you know what I mean? And then I'd probably do more either landscape videos specifically for YouTube, and stick to the portrait ones for TikTok, which is where I was hoping to go. So that's where what I'll do, going down the road, and try and make it separate videos for each, not just uploading my TikTok videos to YouTube. I'd like them to be separate, because then I can go off in two different angles if I needed to, or I had the
Yeah.
the thing to do it. I'll just say hello to, obviously, Cobra came in. Benson's here as well. Hi, Benson. Jack Stacks has come in. Great to see you all. If anyone's got any questions for me or Andy, feel free to ask. There's no plan, there's no schedule. You know what I mean? It's not going to be you can ask after 9 o'clock or anything daft like that. It's really great to see you here. Really good. BBA says 3 short videos a day will get you follows. I
Yeah.
I'm not sure about this. I don't like. I had 365. I'm pretty sure this is why 365. Not about 365, but 365 messaged me recently to say, hey, are you okay? You've been a bit quiet, blah, blah, blah. And I was having a bit of a rough couple of weeks as it happened anyway, but because I normally watch, there's certain, we just can't watch everybody. Do you know what I mean? We just can't.
No.
There's a
No.
there's a there's a sort of 4 or 5 people I will always, just always watch. And I watch them on the TV as well. So I get my night, and I think, right, this is my time to catch up on all the videos, because I like to see it on the big screen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're the ones I sort of normally watch, and I obviously normally watch his videos and comment a lot. But then they've all started this thing of breaking the videos down with this app, and then it spits out little bits of the video. Do you
Shorts.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
these little short things that come, but then they're slightly out of context. They're not, you know what I mean? And I haven't got time for that. It's taken what I would watch, you know, 5 videos a week to 50 videos a week. Do you know what I mean? And it's all stuff I've already watched. And this is just my personal opinion, guys. Don't get offended. Don't be a little snowflake. I didn't want to get all these notifications that this video had been split into 10 different videos, and because you think, oh, there's a new video out by this person, and you go to it, and it's just a rehash of a video they've already done. So as BBA said, it might be good to do a load of short videos, but when it's a video you've already watched, for me personally, that's not what I want to see. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I won't be going down that path. My videos aren't normally that long anyway. If I've had a really big delivery, it might go on for like 15-20 minutes, but I try and sort of stick to that, just under 10 minutes at the most, and obviously a few shorts as well and things like that. So yeah, I don't really like all that apps that do all of that for you on your behalf and keep posting stuff constantly. So I think that's probably why, because you obviously realised I wasn't responding to any of these little mini videos that were coming out. There was just too many of them. Do you know what I mean? And a few people have have done that. So I don't know how you feel about it.
Dude, this is where you can get so wrapped up in YouTube world,
Mm,
or creator world, and you can spend so much time following trend. AI is just pumping out alternative ways of
hmm
creating videos, and it all becomes a trend. And I'd sat. I'm probably a bit of an old git, really. I just sit there sometimes and think, oh my god, but where is all this going? Um, and for me, I'm like you. If I suppose if I really do, if I'm really honest, if I was a lot younger, I would be so excited about the changes that are going on and get myself more wrapped up in it. But it's just at my age now, it's just because I'm not really sort of building or wanting to, probably in the background in my mind now, want to build channels to earn money from so I can retire and all that bullshit.
hmm
Uh, I just want to just keep to creative, you know, the old school way. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I still love the tech and I love what it's doing. But I can just see how you mentioned a little while ago, this all starts to make it easy,
hmm
and you can become very addictive to it. And what are you feeding? Are you feeding and keeping the addictiveness going, or are you actually being productive with it? And that's a big key question. Sometimes I have to ask myself. You're putting your time and energy into stuff. Are you being productive with it, or are you just feeding the narrative and the trend? And I think I'm to blame with this. Sometimes I'm just getting wrapped up in the hype of it all and probably
hmm
just contributing into feeding the hype and the trend of it all.
Mm. But
If that
you,
makes sense.
I don't think you've done any of those where you split up your longer form videos into little segments.
No, I haven't. No, I know about it, and I'm
Mm.
quite obviously in my long format stuff that I've done. With, like, for argument's sake, Cobra's in, bless him.
hmm
Did the Charlie Kirk chat. And yeah, if I'd gone into that app, we could have split it up, and I could have put it. I've got a clips channel. I could have put it into there and push it out there and do all that. But for me, it's that's not my driver. That
Mm.
but I really do see the because it's trendy. I see the necessity, but then does the necessity just become an addiction, and does the addiction just feed the system? And are you being productive with it? That's the question that I always get at the back of my mind. So I have a tendency not to do it, but then I haven't got that driver to do it in the first place because I don't want thousands of followers and I don't want to make a living out of my YouTube channel. So
No, I don't think I do. You get if you go so far, people are just. I think people can get a bit obsessed with you. Do you know what I mean? I've had some very strange messages over the last couple of years, and yeah, I'm always sort of fairly careful about what I say and what I reveal, and that's what I meant earlier about you being sort of more able to share more of yourself on your channel,
yeah,
which is great because you're very open anyway, and obviously you've shown your face many times now and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just, for me personally, I'm just sort of keeping it, what it's about, what I started the channel for. But that's why I was quite excited about having you starting with the YouTube, just in case I did, obviously at the moment I'm only putting content from TikTok on there, but my only goal is to sort of maybe slightly, split it and go down one route with one, and stick with what I've always done on TikTok with the other, so that I can keep my TikTok channel relatively clean and straightforward, and you know what you're going to get type thing. But the
yeah.
YouTube channel could be things like this that we're doing tonight. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean? Not that I'm trying
dude,
to step on anyone's toes or copy anyone or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? It's just a little chat that doesn't have that kind of structure, doesn't have that sort of bribe culture of come in and you'll get a free ounce of silver or anything. Good luck to anyone who does that. That's great. We've all got to do ourselves. You know, and that's not the kind of thing I personally want to do. But yeah, so I'm sort of happy to go down this kind of line that I'm doing with you now on my YouTube channel. Do you know what I mean? So I'm grateful to have those two different things. So that's probably where I'm going to go with that on YouTube. Do you know what I mean? And make that a bit more personal and a bit more sort of maybe talking to maybe some other people, but not sort of in a way of, this is a structure, this is what we're going to talk about. Here's 10 questions, here's a spin wheel. Do you know what I mean? None of that kind of business. Just loose, just random. See where we go. Let people come in, chat, ask questions. You know, for me personally, do you know what I mean? So you've also got that because you've got your obviously your CPM channel,
Yep.
and then you've obviously got your what podcast, which could be anything really.
Way out there. It's way
Yeah,
out there,
it's,
dude.
it's it's literally way out there. So yeah, so it's not going to be Coin Noob's way out there channel on YouTube, but just a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more. Maybe I'll be talking to someone, maybe I won't. You know what I mean? More sort of vloggy style stuff that I
Mm.
want to do. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like I've learned a lot over the last couple of years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I don't really
100%.
impart that knowledge on CoinLoop71 TikTok channel. It's just here's this bit of silver. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. It,
And
it,
I'm go on.
I was just going to say, it's really important because what you just said there, you've built up some knowledge. Now you either keep that to yourself or you share it. And
Mm,
I'm a great proponent of sharing knowledge because but not in a way that just totally makes it easy for people.
hmm
I don't believe in that. Um, but if there's a way of just sharing what you've done during your journey in
hmm
a way that is not so trendy, this is how you have to do it, just in this sort of way, you can drop some
Yeah.
nuggets in. And if people are looking for a prime example, everyone wants to know about price. Everyone wants that. Like, it's trendy at the moment. It's like silver's going to the moon, all that stuff. But
hmm
it isn't real. It isn't a reality in the bigger picture because there's reasons for it and bits and pieces. So in these sort of conversations, it allows maybe a little bit of out of the box thinking
Yeah.
and talking to actually say yes, certain things do happen, but certain things do happen another way as well.
Mm,
And this is I experience it. This is just an example. I'm not saying it's the truth. I experienced something like this before, but this is what I felt. This is how I was emotionally. This is I was in thought, euphoria and really wonderful and brilliant. But if you don't do anything with it, then it's all a waste of time. It's a great experience when it does happen, but if you're not going to capitalize on it, if that's what you need to do,
yeah.
maybe diversify into something else with that profit or whatever, then what are you doing, and I know that everyone's got their own course of action and their own
hmm
reasons, but it's great just to express it because then someone that may be just thinking about something
hmm
might give them that confidence to think, right, okay, yeah, I didn't think of
I
that, or I
think
thought of that, but I didn't know
it's
what to do with it.
you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes because obviously I listen to all your little rambles and wherever you are, standing in the back of your van, walking down that lane, whatever's going on, and a lot of the times it's like what are you actually trying to say here? Do you know what
Yes,
I mean? People will interpret that however they're going to interpret it to fit with their narrative. Um, is that because you're maybe a bit worried about offending people, or do you know what I mean? Because if I go down that path with the YouTube side where I do sort of talk more sort of freely and openly, um, and Cobra will agree with this. In this sort of snowflake generation where everyone's getting offended so easily, do you know what I mean? My simple point and opinion can be sort of like, oh my god, he's so miserable, he's so nasty, he's so this, he's so
yeah,
that,
yeah.
because I do feel differently to a lot of people. I honestly don't know whether people are just ticking the, crossing the D's and dotting the I's, whatever it is, when they talk on people's channels or put
Yeah.
comments, random comments about, and they just copy what everyone else says, and nobody's really shown any real, what they're really thinking. Do you know what I mean? I'm more interested in what people are really thinking and
Yeah.
what they really want to say, and I'm not going to go, oh my God, how dare you say that? Because we're all entitled to our opinions. You know what I mean? I've held back because I know I'm probably going to offend and upset people, but I'm getting to that stage where I don't really mind. Do you know what I mean? Especially if I do it on the YouTube side, I
Yeah.
keep it away from my little, because I'm quite proud of my little TikTok channel. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's always been what it is. I've had a few little jokey videos in there, to do with the Sigma machine and things like that, and that's all great fun. But I'm so tempted to go down a more, you know, real, giving that information across, giving across things that I've learned, giving across those little tidbits and things like that, but also saying what I really think about, this or that, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we've all got strong opinions about stuff, and I normally, my thoughts generally coincide with Cobra's as well. I think it's, that chat you had a long time ago where you were
Yeah.
really sort of putting the world to rights. I sat there enthralled listening to that, thinking it was like Cobra was speaking out my mouth. It
Yes.
was,
I remember it. I
there's so
remember
many
it.
issues. Yeah, there's so many issues that some people treat as really sort of sensitive. And oh my God, you can't say that, and you can't say that, and you're not allowed to have that opinion. But and we've all got to tie in with this and agree with that and agree with this. Where, yes, of course, if there's things in place where you've got to say your pleases and thank yous and say all the right things in all the right places, especially when it comes into a like a work environment. I mean, I'm the way I am. I don't hide the fact of who I am, and I'm protected in a work environment. I'm protected from any negative comments or being treated differently to anybody else and all that kind of stuff. But I don't
Sure.
mind people having an opinion and
Yeah.
being truthful about it. Do you know what I mean? I don't. There's lots of stuff that people are just going to assume that I agree with, and I might, even though I'm a certain way, I might not agree. Do you know what I mean? I don't agree with all these extra letters that keep getting added onto the LGBT community. Do you know what I mean? I think we've got about 26 different letters and acronyms after us all now, and it's just people just assume that we're all okay with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of us are not. Do you know what I mean? Because it was always about the LGBT community. Do you know what I mean? And then all these extra 10,000 sexualities have suddenly appeared out of nowhere,
Yeah.
and it's very strange. We're all told we've got to agree with it and blah blah blah. And yes, from a work environment or in public sort of thing, I don't care what anyone is. You can identify as a toaster. I couldn't care less. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean I have to agree with it in
Yeah.
my head. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I'd love to be able to be totally free and say my mind. Do you know what I mean? But
Sure.
again, you've got that thing of, are they going to snip that one line where I've said a comment and then, oh my God, he's this, he's racist, he's homophobic, he's trans, he's whatever. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's really worrying this day and age with people clipping your stuff and AI, and that's the thing that Cobra was saying about him being sort of clipped and Charlie Kirk and people just what people are like. The press love to push out crap stuff about people and make out that this is happening and that's happening and every single Muslim is a terrorist and all this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's all a load of rubbish. Do you know what I mean? You need to watch the whole thing in context, as you were saying with COVID the other night. And yeah, so I'd kind of really love to. I'd love to sort of let loose and be the real me. But I can imagine your struggle of you wanting to be more of you and get your point across without offending people. Do you know what I mean? Is
Yeah.
it is that something you think about? Are you conscious about? Oh, I can't really say that word, and I can't really say that word. And can you ever truly be free on social media?
Well, yeah, it's quite interesting actually. Trying to unwrap that what you've just said. Really, you've said so much there. um,
I told you I was a gob. Sorry.
no, it's absolutely fine. I'll pick up about my crypticness in a
Mhm.
minute, but that what you're saying is like basically reflecting of my last video on my walk, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Remember what I was saying? I'm fed up with this farm mentality where you have to pick sides. I want to be a little bit more free. Now,
Mhm.
from a cryptic point of view, I've always been pretty cryptic. And the reason why I'm like that is because I'm feeling out the space. I'm
Mhm.
always feeling out the space. And not letting. I know you used to send me little messages saying, "Oh, what the bloody hell are you on about?" And for God's sake, man, why are you pestering around?
Get to the
But
point, man. What are you trying to say? Who are you
but
slagging
this
off?
exactly, and this is the reason why, because I'm not sure myself what
Hmm.
I'm trying to achieve, which is what we was talking about earlier. I know the message I want to put out, but I don't know how it's going to be received.
Hmm.
In not worrying about how it's going to be received, but how I'm going to receive the receiving. You know,
Okay.
does that make sense? It's like a
Yeah,
double
yeah, yeah.
whammy, really. And how that's going to affect me. Is that going to be a good thing, or is it going to be a bad thing? Can I cope with that? Can I not? So, like, it's almost like I am. You probably can relate to this because you always used to pick me up on it. It's almost like I'm just treading and throwing little things out there just to get, to see what sort of responses. But
Yeah.
what I've realized, mate, is especially nowadays, is most people are fed up. They're totally fed up, and me included. And
Hmm.
I'm not saying I'm any different to anybody else, but most people are fed up, and most people haven't got bloody time. They just want answers, and they're searching for answers. And unfortunately, sometimes those answers aren't just what we think. We can just plug into AI, we can plug into a channel, we can plug into a creator, we can plug into a group, we can plug into an influencer and get all the answers we want. Sometimes, well, probably more times, we have to go on a journey ourselves.
Hmm.
And that's what I was trying to sort of imply within the crypticness is always, and you can go right back through all of my CPM stuff. That's
Hmm.
always what it's been. Please learn, please learn, please learn. Take your time. Please learn, please learn. And from a perspective of trying, I've been very fortunate to be in a position to relive from finance point of view and silver and gold and stocks and shares and
Hmm.
crypto and all that sort of stuff. I've been very fortunate to relive that, not at my age, but for my son. And for me personally, I can see the effects of what that's doing for my son's future. And now I'm trying to sort of sit there and say, okay, I know this can work and I know it's a possibility. How do I try and recreate that, but not like me and my son sitting at the kitchen table?
Yeah.
How can I bring that, maybe that little bit of knowledge, that little bit of experience, to help others try and achieve it? And that's where I've got to today. And it's almost like I'm sitting at the in the back of my head now, and is trying to work out, okay, how can I create a, I don't want to say club or anything like that, but it is, to put words to it. How can I create a space that's safe? Get back to what you're saying, where you can be expressive and do what say what you want to say.
Hmm.
Create that space, but be productive with it at the same time.
Hmm.
And
I, d-
that's
I,
what.
d- I honestly, this is sad to say, I honestly don't think there's a space for that at the moment. I don't think there's lots of people saying things in the chat about you can't have opinions and people are narrow minded and all this kind of stuff. And I would just I don't think it's possible to have a space where you could literally say really what you wanted to say totally openly, totally, you're allowed to have an opinion about whatever it is. There's no venom there, there's no hate, it's just your opinion and your understanding of it. You're open to be, have your mind opened about it, and maybe corrected if your opinion is of something negative about something. As Cobra says, just come in, have a chat about it. Do you know what I mean? Talk about it to each other. Don't just immediately go for that snowflake response of, oh, I'm butthurt now. I'm going to do this to you, and I'm going to do this behind your back, and I'm going to report you for this, and all this kind of stuff. It's really sad that you just can't have a totally open chat anywhere online without it being turned into something else, or somebody getting upset, or You know what I mean? And I kind of love a space like that. I could imagine there's lots and lots of people that would be thoroughly interested in having a good old debate. Do you know what I mean? Without somebody getting bloody offended all the time.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and I think if you open up a say like I'd be hypothetical here. Say I opened a group up, okay,
Hmm.
and that was the whole precipice behind the group. You know, free space, free living, free whatever. If you open that up to the world, okay, then it ain't going to work. I totally agree with
No.
what you totally agree. Now, if you close the space down and like, I always now look at, I mean, I'm pretty privileged to have a un-internet world. If I was to do this in an un-internet world, then what would I have done? I would have just said, okay, guys, you know, let's set up a club. We need a meeting place. Within that meeting place, we are getting together regularly. Um, Obviously, people will understand and know the basic, not the rules, but the basic. This is what we're doing, and this is what we want to try and achieve. You can join, you can not join. Um, the people that join, then we get an understanding of the people who join. We build relationships up, and then we have, like I am with Cobra. I can disagree with Cobra a zillion
Hmm.
million times about a zillion million things. But at the end of the day, like you always notice at the end of my videos, I always say, "Love you, dude," and he goes, "Yeah, I
Hmm.
love you."
Of
You know,
course.
because that's what's been built up, but it hasn't been built up over 5 minutes. It's been
Oh,
built up
oh my
over
goodness, no, 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 no.
yeah, that's been built up over. It's been built up over time. So
Yeah,
so is
I
it
know,
pop?
I know. There's a sort of core team of us that we could all sit around a table in a bar and you know put the world to rights, and we'd all leave happy. We'd all leave not offended. You know, we'd all love each other at the end of the night. But
Yep,
the point with if you and that would work obviously with when you if, you know if you've got selective people coming in and only the right you know the right people are invited in all that kind of stuff, and that would be a short fix. You know, but that wouldn't help the rest of us, would it? It wouldn't help the general population to make them think and you know what I mean, open their minds up and hope that they're going to be a bit more accepting of things, and hopefully, you know, as Kobe just said there, understanding the opposite view, you know, gives you the chance to be a debate. If it's a closed group, then we're sort of losing the whole point of it in the first place. Yes, we yes, the five of us will have a giggle. You know what I mean? And
yep,
you know we'll leave you know stronger and more bonded, but we haven't achieved anything. We haven't educated anyone or enlightened anything anywhere or tried
yep,
to change people's opinions. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
Uh,
But as you say, I just don't think it's possible.
yeah, I slightly disagree,
Go for it, mate.
and the reason why I disagree is because it always takes small steps. One person needs to have the balls to believe in something, and
Hmm.
then hopefully that creates another person that goes, "Yeah, I like that."
Yeah.
And then one thing I've really realized, Griff, is that, and it's been a big problem of mine on the YouTube and on the internet and my experiences, is that I've been so passionate about getting so many people on board and caring about so many people, it becomes that bit that you're saying, it's impossible
Mm.
because, yeah, it is impossible. You can if you open it up to absolutely everybody is at totally different periods, totally different experiences, totally different times in their life. So one thing I've realized, it's not about trying to be there for everybody, but
Hmm.
it's really cool to try and start a nucleus at a very small stage so that maybe it will have a good positive effect, whatever that is, and whatever that manifests itself into to a few people, and those few people then in the real world go out and do whatever. And if it's been effective for them, they may not bring new people to the club, as I call it,
Hmm.
or whatever. you want to call it. I hate the labels.
Hmm.
But they may be influencing outside of that, and that's revelation. That's revolution. That's really going back to basics and really, really, really providing something that you know maybe a few people that are at the right time in their life, or want to have a look. Yeah, there's value in that for them. Can I be can I be of any value? Can you be of any value? Can any of the members be in value? It just evolves,
Yeah.
and I think I've had to admit to myself that, as much as I care and give a shit about everybody, you're not there to serve the purpose for everybody. You're there
Hmm.
to create something, getting back to creating, to create something that maybe you like, I like, a couple of other people like, a couple of other people will see the value in it, and then the knock-on effect leaves the legacy. And that's
Yeah.
where I am now. And that's what I've sort of, you're dead right. If I was to set up I've tried it. If I was to set up a, a group, and just leave it open without any explanation of why I've done it or what I'm looking for, or or what the basis of what it's all about, then you just attract people that are just looking for stuff, and then they come in and they don't find what they're looking for whatever reasons, bless them. And before you know it, you've lost that continuity, and the core basis of what you're trying to do has just lost itself. And
Mm.
that's purely because maybe I'm just thinking that my experience, maybe a little bit of wisdom, I don't know. Jesus Christ, who am I? Um, isn't being constructively put across. So that's my challenge, really, to be honest.
It's a big challenge. It
It's
really is. But
massive. It's
it's
massive.
I like it when, I mean, even on the most simplest of terms. Benson said a little while ago about if he had one viewer watch one video and put a little like, do you know what I mean? It's and you've made their day a little bit. We all we all go through stuff. We all have things going on in our lives. Men's mental health is spoken about a lot more now, thankfully, than it was, when I was a teenager. If you mentioned anything about emotions when I was a teenager, you had the shit kicked out of you and you're a pansy.
Yep.
So I'm more happy. I feel like my little niche area would be, explaining about my personal journey on that side of things, and journeys I've had with other people and family members and things like that. I'm very open to all, that kind of thing to anybody, because I know how much so you could ask anybody in the biggest of chat channels, what I mean, and everybody would have issues that they could talk about. No one's got a perfect life, have they? Do you know what I mean? Money doesn't make everything okay, does it? People are still ill around you, and family members still die, and all sorts of horrible and wonderful stuff goes on. But it's I just to have that free space where you can talk about your emotions and your mental health, and it could be silver, could be gold, could be anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Without being judged, without anyone sniggering in the background, and it would be it would be like nirvana. It'd be lovely. Do you know what I mean? When nobody's judged, that would be really, really nice. And if you could create a space like that where people can come in with their opinions, and just be relaxed and free and talk about whatever, and see where the conversation goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And sometimes you don't need to say anything. You just need to
Hmm.
be present. You just need to. Well, I say you just. I'm saying that
No,
hypothetically.
no, no. Other people. We used to have many a night in the whiskey lounge chat, and I was conscious of you just sitting in the background listening to all these things
Mm,
going on.
mm,
And it's fascinating to listen to other people, and their I'm sitting there going, now why do they think that? What's made them be like that? Why have they gone down that path? Do you know what I mean? And my little brain is trying to work out the benefits of that, because a lot of my stuff and a lot of my thoughts are all based on common sense, which you presume everybody's got, but they bleeding well haven't. Do you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a given, is it, that people have got common sense? But I strongly rely on on good morals and good common sense. But just some people seem to be lacking, and it's fascinating to listen. I want to know why. Why
Yeah.
have they just said that? Why do they believe that? Do you know what I mean? Not that I'm correct in any way, shape, or form. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my opinion, or what I think. I'd love it if someone changes my mind. People have often changed my mind. People have influenced me to buy things. If people have yourself, when we've spoken about stocks and shares, and I've always been a bit. I knew nothing about it. It's not part of the curriculum. It's not talked about. You leave school with no idea about investments and stocks and shares or any of that kind of financial side of things. You know what I mean? Maybe how to open a bank account. But that's about all you get,
Yeah.
isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And all these people are having all these conversations, and I'm literally a magpie. I'm like, oh, this is shiny. I'm going to collect it. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
never really had a plan or knew about it or knew about the markets or the silver price or exit strategies, hedge funds, or nothing of that. I was just a coin collector that was collecting shiny stuff.
Yeah.
But you've got to get out there and do your research and find out about stuff and yeah, I can't get involved in the conversation if I don't know about the subject. So I started watching lots of YouTube videos about, and obviously, people will try and lead you up all sorts of paths with stocks and shares and crypto and all this kind of stuff.
Oh,
And you've got to do your own research and not just stick to one channel, because you can literally go from one to the other and they have completely opposing things about things. You know what I mean? So you've got to do your own research, work out what fits for you and your budget. But doing my own research, I opened up a trading 212 account and put a little bit of money in. I made a mistake actually, because I knew I got it whittled down, because obviously you can do day trading. You can sit and watch all the markets and watch the internet screen all day long if you wanted to, and move
yeah.
and sell and swap and share and all that kind of stuff. I didn't have the time for that. So I worked out that things like the S&P 500 was generally sort of 7 or 8% a year, which is it's fine. You just put money in there and just leave it. I mean, you can't. I don't monitor it. I don't look at it. I have today for today's video because I want to talk about it. But it's just something it should be free cash. It's available. It's not needed for bills. It's not needed for mortgage and all that kind of stuff. If you've got some spare cash and you can get a bit more of a varied, a diverse portfolio, which is all very very good. Which I
Yeah.
didn't. Again, I knew nothing about. All my eggs were fully in one basket. And I just learned that that's maybe not necessarily, this is not financial advice, but it's just not necessarily the best thing to have everything in one basket. So I accidentally clicked on the FTSE All World Index rather than the S&P 500.
Yeah.
But I just had a look today. I don't look at it at all. I never look at it. I don't open the app. I don't do anything. It's just I've put money in there. I've forgotten about it. If it all goes to zero, I'm not missing anything. Do you know what I mean? I'm not relying on it or anything like that. The FTSE over the last year, the FTSE All World is up 18.3%.
Yeah.
The S&P 500 is up 3.8%, which is a bit disappointing because that's the one that I thought would be between sort of 7 and 10%, because
Yeah.
that's historically what it's done over the years. I sound like I'm an expert. I'm really not, guys.
No, no, no.
The surprise for me, and I picked one just to add another little company to my little pie, as they call it, and that was Deutsche Bank.
Yeah.
And that is up 110%, which
Yeah.
is crazy that my money is, way more than double. Do you know what I mean? Deutsche Bank has done really, really well for me personally. And then, of course, your lovely little thing that you love is the old Bitcoin. I still can't really get my head around it. I did open up a Coinbase account, and I do have some Bitcoin. And just for transparency, that is up 3.49% from when I first opened that as well. But I haven't had that as long as my other things. So
Yeah.
everything's growing. It's nice to know a little bit about it. It's nice to be involved in it a little bit, and
Yeah.
to say that I've got a little Bitcoin. I mean, it's a very very tiny 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 piece of Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's nice to have it. And like I said, today is the first day I've looked at any of these, and I just wanted to have some facts and figures. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. Fine.
the silver itself, has gone up. I started 2 years ago. Silver was around 16, £17 spot, and I was picking
Yeah.
up Britannias for 20 quid. And, now today, 2 years later, spot is 35 quid,
Yeah. I
and
know, man.
it's just, my stack has gone up. The value of my stack. If I had bought 500 ounces back then, it's up 80% in two
Yeah.
years. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I mean, I know my Deutsche Bank shares have done really well, but that's a pretty good return. I'm so chuffed. I've got these different things going on everywhere now. It's quite exciting to have different, a diverse portfolio, as they call it, don't they? 'Cause I'm already invested in property and things like that, always have been. But I just love it. I really do. I never thought I'd be this excited about it and thinking about your future. And, because obviously me and you are a bit older. So things are sort of looming up, do you know what I mean? And retirement and maybe a bit of ill health for me, do you know what I mean? So I'm glad I've done it, for my daughter's sake. My daughter's 12 and everything will go to her, hopefully, if I don't need it. Do you know what I mean? Touch wood.
Yeah.
But yeah, would you sort of tell people to have a diverse portfolio?
Oh, massively so, dude.
Yeah.
Uh, this is one of my frustrations. But I'm getting back to some of that conversation.
Mm.
Is I'm not going to give up, dude, on the finding that space. Yeah, I'm working in the background of how I can see that progressing.
Mhm.
Um, so all I can say is for the few people that are watching, watch this space because I thoroughly believe that it is possible, and the knowledge that I've personally built up and I want to learn from others can be of benefit, not necessarily which we all want, and that's a monetary benefit, but that put to one side, there's a bigger benefit as well. So watch that space. Getting back to the silver thing, I'm glad you brought that up because that's a big thing. It's trending at the moment. Silver's gone through the roof. I don't personally believe silver's gone through the roof, but it's a big trend thing. Gold's obviously, everyone says gold has gone through the roof. It's gone to the moon. Well, yeah, maybe, maybe not. If you've got a price structure like you just explained, if you've bought something a lot cheaper and it's gained 30, 40, 50%, then yeah, I suppose you could put that into words. It's gone through the roof, but it all depends what through the roof means to us all as individuals.
Mhm.
It doesn't surprise me. It's really interesting actually, because 6 months ago I put a post out on my channel about the silver price going up. What would you do if it went through, to a ridiculous level? And 6 months down the line, and it seems I'm very different. I've got a different philosophy on it all, but if you follow the trend, then it almost seems like we're going into utopia mode with silver. But there's a big question: what are you going to do? What are you going to are you going to sell it? Are you not going to sell it? What are you selling it for? And when you do sell it, and these are the questions I always ask myself. When you do sell it, if you do sell it, or if you don't sell it, what are you doing? Why are you doing what you're doing?
Mm.
It brings about so many questions. It's great hype. It's great. Um, if you're on YouTube, TikTok, or whatever, it's great content.
Mhm.
But in true reality, what are you going to do? What are you going to do if it goes to 50 pound an ounce?
Difficult, isn't it? It's difficult because the price has gone up the last 6 or 7 weeks, really, almost £1 a week. It's like, oh bloody hell, these things are getting more and more expensive to pick up. I watched Si's video earlier,
Yep.
because he finally done a normal video and not Britannia, and he was talking about the price of picking up a bullion coin now from the bullion dealers is 44, 46 quid. It's just, is it a case of you just have to get that's the new price, tough, get used to it, and in 2 years' time you'll be laughing about it, saying, look how cheap silver was 2 years ago, like we are
Yep.
now. Do you know what I mean? or is it going to drop right down to 20 quid again? You watch all these channels on YouTube, all these investors and all these people who stack, and they've all got so varied opinions, and they reckon it's going to do this, and they don't know. They've got no idea. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It could do anything. It could go £100. It could drop to £10. You know what I mean? Nobody's got the right idea of what's really going to happen. You've just got to pick what's right for you right now. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? So I know
yeah,
I've made that 80% on my stack. Do I sell now and take that 80%? Or will I, regret it in 6 months' time when it's £60 an ounce? You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
difficult. You've got to fit in with what's right with you for right now. I'm lucky that I don't touch wood. I don't need it right now. So I'm not in any rush to sell anything. I'm quite happy still plodding along collecting. It's more difficult. It's harder to bite that bullet and buy the pieces when they're, £6, £7, £8 more than they were just a few months ago.
yeah,
It's difficult, but it's down to the individual, isn't it? In your life and what fits with you and what you want to do, isn't it? I wouldn't laugh at anybody for selling now. I wouldn't laugh at anybody for buying now.
yeah,
I'm still going to carry on doing what I'm doing, and whatever the silver price is, as long as I'm paying within that sort of 20% premium, which is roughly what you get on a bullion coin, from spot price. As long as I'm sticking within that kind of average, then nobody can laugh at me in 6 months' time if it drops down to 25 quid, because I was just paying the price of what it was that particular day. And I'm sure it'll all, if you look at the whole 2 years of stacking, it'll all sort of balance itself out. But yeah, I honestly don't know where to go. As Si was saying, do you sell? Do you buy? What do you do right now? Do you know, with this price going a bit crazy at the moment?
yeah. But is it crazy?
Well, I mean, it's gone up 80% in 2 years for me, so I think that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but I see. This is the value of having these conversations and having a network where you can ask questions
Mm.
like, "Is it crazy?" Or are we missing the real point? Why the hell is it doing what it's doing?
I mean, again, I've never thought about it, never worried about it. I've looked at it a bit more now, and I know there's obviously huge demand for silver in industry, and there's, in actual fact, a big deficit. They're not mining enough to cover demand at the moment. So in my mind, that means the price can only go up. Do you know what I mean? Because there's not
Yeah,
enough.
yeah,
So, and I would never have even thought about thinking about that just 6 months ago. I wouldn't have even thought about that. Do you know what I mean? But when you get to a certain level, you have to start thinking about things like that and start thinking about the markets and where it's going and what's going on, because you're talking big rises or big drops in a matter of days. So you've got to be a bit aware of it, haven't you? I've never wanted to be. I've always wanted it to be, look, here's something shiny, but you've got to. You've got to know your facts and figures to it to know the right path for you, haven't you?
I I, I think that's yeah. Facts and figures is just such a big open question because to me now, this is just me personally, is that for argument's sake, what I've got in front of me, if I was very lucky enough to sell it, I've probably got about 5, maybe 6 grand's worth of silver and a little bit of gold
Hmm.
at the moment. If I sold it tomorrow, if I was fortunate enough, I mean, just selling it is just quite a rigmarole. But if I was fortunate enough to get that sort of money tomorrow, what do I do with that 5 or 6 grand? When
Yeah.
I know personally its purchasing power will, if I just kept it in cash, will erode.
Mm.
So there's a question that many people, I'm not sure, are aware because we're also used to fiat, money, 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 pound, pound, pound. I want more, I want more, I want more. But I'm not sure that many people maybe not understand. It sounds so arrogant for me to say that,
Mm.
but really understand your purchasing power. Once you come out of one thing, what do you go into? Well, if you sell it all, you can only, in our country, we can only go into pounds. Yeah.
Hmm.
Unless you're fortunate enough to be able to peer to change it into gold with someone. But we go into pounds. Now, what do we do with those pounds? What's it going to do for us? Are we going to go and spend it on a holiday and then it's gone?
It's gone. Yeah, exactly.
It's gone. You've given it to someone else. Or, as someone just put in there, do you put it into gold? But
Yeah,
then your expectation of gold is, well, if I'm going to go from silver into gold, what's my expectation that gold's going to give me any better than silver?
yeah.
There's a great question there because it opens a massive risk analysis of what your potential of improving your investment is. And there's many questions around that. Yeah, okay, I'm going to convert all this silver that I've got in front of me, go into gold, and but is that gold going to preserve that value over the next 10 years, 5 years, 1 year, 2 years, whatever? When we look at what's going on in the big wide world at this moment in time,
Mm,
there's so many questions. And I think that a lot of us maybe have missed that point a little bit. We look at our stacks and think, yeah, it's silver, it's worth whatever, but in what environment is that worth? And how is it going to benefit us as an individual? There's so many questions. And if we go back 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, 2020, 2021 has had a massive impact on all of this valuation stuff. But if we
mhm,
go back 10 years, 20 years, it wasn't so much of a big issue. But nowadays, it's a massive issue. Massive.
mm,
Because, yeah, say I was only 40 years of age, 30 years of age, with the privilege of having this in front of me, yeah, I could sell it. And then my wife goes, "Oh, God, we need a holiday. Oh, God, we could just pay the mortgage off. Or really, we could do this. We really could just pay the car off. We could." Hey, it's gone.
mhm.
Then it's at that point, as soon as you get rid of it and then convert it into another currency and then pay something off, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It would be tough. It would be tough if I had to sell it to pay a debt or pay something gone wrong, or you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Fair enough if
Yeah.
you enjoyed yourself. Like you say, if you could have a lovely world cruise or something, but like you say, you come back a month later and that's it. You've had your world cruise and there's nothing on your shelf anymore. There's no more silver or gold.
Yeah.
But I certainly get more excited about silver than I do cash. You know what I mean? I even think in terms of troy ounces now. When something comes up and my partner says, "Oh, it's 70 quid," I go, "Pooh, that's 2 ounces of silver. I'm not paying that." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My brain is in silver mode now rather than fiat currency. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah. Yeah.
all I know, my little simple brain, right? My little simple brain. All I think of, I never used to, but in the last 6 months, I think a lot more now about inflation and because when people always used to talk about fiat currency and this and blah blah blah, I'm like, oh, they're just like doomsdayers. Do you know what I mean? Saying this, that, and the other, and all the banks are going to close and we're all going to be shot. But it's going down. In the last 2 years, I mean, firstly, for me, it's a savings, an incredible savings vessel for me. I've never had this many thousands of pounds worth of cash. I know it's not cash at the moment, it's silver, but you know what I mean? If I converted it all and sold it all over the next couple of weeks, I'd have a great big pile of cash that the biggest pile I've ever had in my life. Do you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
would never have had that without collecting this because I'm too much of a bloody instant, I see something, I buy it type thing. Do you know what I mean? The latest technology and all that kind of stuff. So that's been good for me. But that money, if it was just sat in a bank for the last 2 years, would have lost value. And instead,
Yeah.
I've gained value. Do you know what I mean? It's a no-brainer. I wouldn't insult anyone and say, well, you're too stupid having cash, but it's a no-brainer, isn't it?
It is, but it's a really interesting question. It's a no-brainer because you're experiencing massive hypes in silver price at the moment that
Mm,
we haven't really experienced well, I haven't experienced it. I've only been in the market for a short period of time when you look in history. But if you go back through data and charts and bits and pieces, this is unprecedented. It isn't
mm,
normal. it's not normal. So it's exciting, but the worst, this is my perspective, the worst thing I can do is start thinking that I've got £5,000 or £6,000 worth of cash in front of me, because I haven't. I've got 101 ounces of silver and a few grams of gold out at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've got.
Yeah.
I haven't got the cash. I've got the physical asset. So tomorrow, if I start to think, if silver continues doing what it's doing, gold continues doing what it's doing, and there's reasons why that's happening, then I'm blindsided by constantly thinking that's what I've got in as value. One of the biggest lessons I've learned personally, and this is my opinion personally, and it's helping my son tremendously with his portfolio, is we look at it as just of what it is, not of what it's worth, because what it's worth can change on a dime.
Mm-hmm.
Totally change on a dime. It's exciting, but it's not the cash. It really isn't the cash. This stuff is the cash.
Mm-hmm.
That we use every day. These £5 notes, £10 notes, £20 notes, £50 notes. We don't even see it much. We just see it all digitally.
Yeah.
There's a this is where we can see the value in open conversation, because the truth of it is, when I talk to my son and we look at the portfolio value of what he's got, we recognize that it's broken down into assets, and it's
Mm-hmm.
and any one day the value of it can change, and then if we go from a different asset, if we sell one asset and go to another asset, we've got to make sure that we're going to improve whatever that value will be in that long-term range. It's so hard when we've all just got so used to this fiat currency mentality that we are constantly looking at, silver's gone up, 20%, 30%, 40% in a short period of time. Wonderful. But what are you going to do with it? What the hell are you going to do with it? Is it best sitting as I have it out in front of me? Or, you can even imagine like there's 100 ounces of Britannias, CGT free stuff. What value is that if you don't know what you can do with it?
I think for me the value is having it there in the first place. I was watching Bullion Now, an Australian bullion dealer, and he'd done a little
Yeah.
private video today, because it's his birthday and his dad died at the same age as he was. It was a bit of a sad video, but he was saying that his mum and dad lost everything because they had everything in a government backed bank scheme in Australia, and they thought their investment was safe and blah blah blah, and the bank just closed and nobody got their money.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yep.
that's the whole reason he started Bullion Now, or ended up starting Bullion Now, was just to be in more control of his own finances. You know what I mean? And not have your money sat in a bank that could just close its doors, or the government could take it, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's not safe in an institution. I feel that my stack is safe here with me. Do you know what I mean? That's the benefit I get from it. I get the benefit of it being silver and looking pretty and making videos about it, and I enjoy it. And like I said, I enjoy the research. I get a lot out of it, not just the fact that it's made money and it's a great savings vessel. But yeah, to know that my money's not locked somewhere else where I may not have access to it. Do you know what I mean? That's a big benefit to me.
100%. 100%. It's so you're now seeing value in a different way.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah, but most people don't look at it like that. All we see is value as, it's worth this, it's worth that, it's worth this. Well, hold on a minute. This lovely kookaburra, which absolutely beautiful. It's worth 50 quid for argument's sake. Okay, well, I'm going to sell it. I'm lucky enough to have the output, which I'm not. I'll sell it, get 50 quid. What are you going to do with that 50 quid?
Have a meal out, fill your
Yeah, but
belly, and it's gone.
if it's gone,
Exactly. That's. Do you think? And I don't know if the chat would agree with it. Has that made me a more sad person that I would rather buy an ounce of silver than go out to the pub and drink 5 pints of beer?
no.
Do you know what I mean? I don't think it is. People might say, "Oh, you're so unsociable, you don't do anything," but I'm happy doing what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? I don't want. You go down the pub and have a drink, it's gone, and all
Yeah,
you're left with is the next day is a headache, hangover and bad guts. Do you know what I mean? I don't.
yeah,
Yeah, don't get me wrong. People can do whatever they want. Obviously, do you know what I mean? Knock yourself out if you want to go out and get drunk every night. That's your business. Do you know what I mean? But a month later, you're going to be so poor, and I'm not. Do you know what I mean? My money's
yeah,
sitting here in silver still. Do you know what I mean? It's a hobby that I've got other hobbies. You know what I mean? I fly drones. You know what I mean? They're very expensive, and should I come to sell one a year after I've owned it, I'll get probably 10% of the value of it back. Do you know what I mean? It's an expensive hobby. This hobby is your money's still sitting there, and
yeah,
hopefully continues to grow. Do you know what I mean? And stops me from spending money. That few days it takes to liquidate this stuff is enough for my interest in that particular thing to be gone.
yeah,
It's saved me so many times. I wouldn't have this money. I would not have. I'm not going to say facts and figures, but I wouldn't have 5 digits high cash if I was keeping it in cash. Do
yeah,
you know what I mean? I just wouldn't. I know I wouldn't. I'm 54. Do you know what I mean? I know what I'm like. You know what I mean? I'm not going to change. I'm still that instantaneous purchaser. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
I just, I keep that spare budget to buy silver, and I buy what I buy each month, and
yeah,
it's gone. Do you know what I mean? The thought of wasting it on something like that, it just wouldn't enter my head. Do you know what
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, this stuff here, dude. I'm just using these two £5 notes because that's what I've got in my pocket. But this stuff here, I think personally, is probably the most powerful thing at the moment in
Mm,
our economic climate. And the reason why I say that is because if you are privileged enough to be able to exchange your time and energy, you've heard me talk
hmm
about this, exchange your time and energy for fiat currency, then all the time you can do that and live and survive, pay your bills, do whatever, and then hopefully have something to preserve whatever you've got left into maybe silver or gold or whatever you want to do with it after a bit of well, not a bit of research, a lot of research. Um, it's king at the moment. Cash is king. It
mm,
really is. Because it allows you to live. And if you want to go down a pub, yeah, that's the system that we live in. We have to, you can't take one of these down the pub, or I don't know of any landlord locally that can go, there you go, there's an ounce bar of silver. Can I have, I don't know, 10 pints of whatever? They just go, yeah, right.
yeah. Okay,
I
mate.
nearly swore then.
Yeah.
It's this this talks
Yeah.
in our current environment. It talks. So that's really really important. Outside of that, this stuff is important. All of
Mm,
this is important because it looks fancy at the moment. It's not fancy. I just look at all this as just 1 ounce of this, 1 ounce of that, 1 ounce of this, 1 ounce of that, 1 ounce of this, 1 ounce of that. It's just 101 ounces of whatever.
yeah.
Perth mint, bloody silver. Um, it it it's a really different dynamic of thinking. And until you go down that bloody rabbit hole of learning about money and how stitched up we are with inflation, money debasement, and all those sort of things I talk about, God knows how many times. Then you really find out what the true value of what you're trying to achieve, and then once you work that one out, if you can, then your diversification and understanding of money starts to possibly, well, I'm not going to say possibly because I can prove it right. It does work for you, but there's still no, especially in this day and age, there's still no right outcome. Right outcome is gold. I mean, I'm going to talk about gold. Gold at the moment is coming up to that 3,000 pound an ounce level,
Crazy, isn't
which
it?
it is crazy, but it's not crazy really, because it makes sense why it's happening, which is about that $4,000 mark.
Hmm.
Now that's quite. I mean, we're in uncharted territory, really. To be fair, with gold, but there's a reason for that. I'm not going to go into it too much now, but there's a reason for it. Now, me and my son have been in a dilemma because we want to buy a little bit more gold. But I was just saying to him the other day, well, let's just wait. Let's wait until, because I'm sure 4,000 is a big thing. $4,000, £3,000, well, it's just under £3,000, about 2,980, something like that,
Yeah.
is a big thing. And I'm sure some big guys are going to make a lot of money at that mark. I'm quite positive that, I'm not 100%, but maybe it'll kick back a little bit and then we'll buy. And then, if the current climate keeps going the way it's going, then it would increase more. So, and that's the same with silver. We're rapidly coming up to that $50 an ounce mark, which is historical.
Yeah.
The last time that happened is when two brothers tried to manipulate the market.
Yes.
Well, this now, there isn't two brothers trying to manipulate the market. We're under a different regime. We're under a
Hmm.
different environment, totally different, but it's still $50. So we've got to be a little bit sort of aware of, there's people out there which can, manipulate the price to their advantage. So maybe, we just have to sit back a little bit and just be aware of
Yeah.
what's going on before we do whatever we're doing. But it's just bloody fascinating to me, mate. It really is. It's it's an exciting
Yeah.
time. It's an only exciting time if you can appreciate that fiat currency is. Oh, I say when I swear, but one
You
is
can swear. I'm sure you're allowed to
no,
swear on YouTube.
no, yeah, you can, but I don't want to do it on your channel. I do it on
Oh,
mine.
I don't mind, mate. You do what you like. You've got to be
No,
free on here.
fiat currency and currencies around the world are so knackered.
Hmm.
And we're seeing it. Gold is telling us, silver's telling us. There's certain investments out there that's telling us. AI is just going through the roof, but there's a
Hmm.
different story. Yeah, it's interesting times. So, but my personal feelings is just don't get too hyped on how much it's worth, because how much it's worth is a reflection of how shit that value is at the
Hmm.
moment. It's more
Oh, it's
important
it's
to
it's still
have
grossly undervalued, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean?
silver potentially is massively grossly undervalued,
Yeah.
but what's the value worth? If £100 isn't worth £100 in 4 months' time,
Hmm.
how do you
Which it
value
which
it?
it won't be.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I think everyone's got their limit. I'd love to know if anyone in the chat would, if silver does hit 50 quid, is that the tipping point for you to sell? Do you know what I mean? What about you, Andy? Is there a tipping point? Or are you in this for the long haul?
Well, I made it quite public that I got out with probably most of my standard bullion stuff
Hmm.
a while back when we hit 2,500 £2,500 in gold.
Yeah.
I can't remember what silver was, but it was in its 20s somewhere, high 20s somewhere. I got out then with a fair proportion of my stack that I'd stacked. It was a very educated but risk thing to do, and that investment has returned us 39%. So it was the right thing to do at the time. I was lucky,
Hmm.
maybe. Me and my son were lucky. But going forward, I would like to think if I had an alternative. Okay, this is going to get really complicated. If I could sell, I would have no qualms in getting rid of any of my silver.
Mhm.
Absolutely no qualms. But one, I would have to have an outlet that I could get rid of that physical silver quickly, which I
Yeah.
spoke about 6 months ago. You need to build a relationship up with the possibility of doing that. Please go and watch that video. It's important. If I had the outcome, I would not. If I saw the value of transferring from silver into another product that was going to give me a better return over a certain period of time, I wouldn't think twice about it, dude.
Okay.
And that obviously is irrelevant of price, because if I sat there and thought, okay, I can get out now, but the risk is worth getting out now, whether I take a loss or I make a profit, and then move it into something that I've done a real good risk analysis on to
Hmm.
think, yeah, that's worth it. And maybe I proportion it up a bit of this. We call it like, I've got £6,000 in front of me now. Maybe I'll proportion that up. A third goes into this asset, a third goes into that asset. I definitely would not keep it in fiat currency.
No.
Definitely not, because if I kept it in fiat currency, I would spend it and I would lose it. If I kept it in there for a long period of time, I'm not getting the max return out of any bank at the moment, or any building society, or whatever I'm privileged to be able to use. I would want to move it into an asset that made sense, that would after good evaluation, make me a better return than what I'm looking at. And at the moment, I'm very interested to see when we get up to that $50 mark. I'm very interested to
Mm.
see when we get up to that $4,000 mark, to see what happens. If we continue an upward curve, then I'm quite happy to sit as what I'm sitting in, to be honest.
If you had absolutely nothing, no shares, no gold, no Bitcoin, no nothing,
Yeah,
but you had some cash to invest,
yeah,
now today, what would
yeah.
you put it into?
Shit.
Doesn't matter what anybody else did. What would you personally put it into?
Give me a figure.
20 grand.
20 grand.
Yeah.
Okay, I would do a massive look at where we possibly, and what's my timeline?
Uh, I don't know.
Yeah,
If you suddenly
it's
come across
important.
20 grand and you've got no shares, no stocks, no gold, no nothing, what you doing with this 20 grand?
With the knowledge I've got now,
Yes.
if I'll just go out and buy gold,
Would you?
because that will give me, and I'll tell you why I will do that. I'll go out and buy gold. I'll stick into gold, because then, because you won't give me a timeline,
Hmm.
I know that 20 grand is preserved until I've decided what I want to do with it.
But why is it more preserved in gold than it is in silver? That's just me
Historically,
being thick. It's
okay.
okay.
Historically, then if you look at what's happened to gold compared to silver's has got more of an industrial use. We all know this if you
Hmm.
do your homework. So it's always played second fiddle. If you was, I don't know what time it was in history, if you was into silver during the Spanish whatever, then silver would have been the bee's knees, to have. But it isn't. It isn't in today's world. Um, Looking at today's world, if I want to preserve, and this is not a 100% thing, if I wanted to preserve 20 grand, I wouldn't put it in the bank. I wouldn't put it into crypto. I wouldn't put it into Bitcoin. You might be surprised for me to say that.
I thought, yeah, I am a bit.
I wouldn't put it into any stocks and shares. Looking at today's environment, I would just smack it into gold at obviously after what I just said. See what happens when it gets to $40,000, £3,000. At some point after that, if I had no long-term future at this moment in time, just to preserve it and maybe catch the trend, I'll put it into gold for sure. For sure.
Every now and again, I sit there and think to myself, because obviously I know gold is good. But when I sit and look at a 1 ounce gold coin, which
Yep.
is a lot smaller than a 1 ounce silver coin, it's a lot thinner, a lot smaller diameter, and it's sitting there in my little hand, and it's worth 2,750 quid
Yep.
in one little coin. It's just maybe my eyes are bigger than my belly, because when I look at my silver stack and boxes and boxes and boxes of silver coins, and I feel like I've got more money. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Because and that's getting back to what I said earlier, because all we do is think about fiat. All we do
Yeah.
is think about fiat. All we
I,
do is
I
think
would I
about
wouldn't
the
feel
money.
rich though. I could take 20 grand of silver now and get like 8 or 9 1 ounce Britannias, and I'd
Yeah,
sit there with these little 8 or 9 coins in my little palm, going,
yeah,
"God bloody hell, that's 20 grand there." Do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
it's just I don't know. I
yeah,
don't feel like it's. I don't know. I know it's stupid. It's probably just a visual thing. Do you know what I mean? It's just
yeah. It
I
is
don't know.
because it but it is in a way, Griff, isn't it? Because all we're doing is thinking about the value. All we
Are we though?
yeah, we are because
What about all the pretty coins and the pretty stackers and how nice they are to look at? And
yeah, but
do you
why
know what I
did why
mean?
but why, how many videos have you watched when people say, oh, I've got we use this as an example, oh, this lovely 2 ounce Perth dragon coin, it's going to hold its value. It always comes into the equation. Hold value. What is that value? Or is it just a pretty 2 ounce silver coin?
Yeah.
You
Thanks,
with me?
365.
Sorry?
I don't know. So I'm just saying hello to 365.
All right.
So if you were sitting in my chair now, surrounded by 20 grand of silver, you'd sell it all and put it into gold.
No,
Oh
you didn't ask me that.
no, I
You
know.
said if I
Initially, yeah, I was giving you 20
you
grand
asked me
cash.
if I had 20 grand cash, what would you buy? What would you do with it?
Yeah, I get that that's different, but I'm just saying that has popped into my mind more than once where I thought, should I be putting this into gold? I'm obviously enjoying what I'm doing. I enjoy the silver. You get a lot more silver for your money, obviously. I'm not subscribed to that. We're going to get nuked and you need to run down the street carrying all your silver, and it's obviously better to have gold. I don't subscribe to that at all. But let me change the question. And if you already had it in silver, would you leave it in silver or still change it to gold?
Okay.
Because it ain't going to be
Um,
cash, is it?
no. A great question. And these are the better questions. It's okay, if I come out, you've got to look at, okay, I hate saying it. I hate talking sometimes when I say like things like you've got to look at.
It's your opinion. You're entitled to it, and I want to know it.
Yeah, you've got to look and evaluate what I've got in front of me. 101 ounces of Perth mint silver. Yeah.
Hmm.
That apparently is worth whatever. Do I sell it all if I can? Yeah.
Hmm.
What do I do with that money?
Well,
Do I just put it into gold?
a couple of years ago, I'd have said stick it under your mattress and forget about it. But I would never tell anybody to do that now.
No. So it opens up a question. Like, I go through all of that time and energy to sell what I've got in front of me, put it into cash, fiat, pounds. What do I do with those pounds? Okay, I'll go out and buy a load of gold. But have I done my homework? Have I actually looked at what's the potential of what that silver in front of me could give me? Forget the value in the future. Can I keep it for another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years? Am I desperate to sell it? There's so many questions, dude.
Yeah.
And then if I sell it because I haven't got any gold, I'm very privileged and very lucky to have gold. Will that gold purchase from selling my silver that I've got in front of me return a better investment than me keeping silver at this moment in time? Now, I can't answer that question. I can't do it. Now, I would do it with a deep dive, maybe put 4, 5, 6 hours into really thinking about the risk analysis of doing that, which is different to me not having anything, which was your previous question.
Yeah.
And then what do I do with it, knowing what I know now? It all comes down to it. I haven't got a crystal ball, dude. I really have. One thing I've really realized is until we absolutely understand and start to educate ourselves on what we're trying to achieve personally, how is that being affected by the global economy? How is that being affected by, all the big boy clubs that are out there? You can't evaluate. It's very easy for me to turn and say, oh, yes, I would sell all my silver because the gold silver ratio says what I should do. Well, fuck. I nearly swore. Well, sod that. That's someone else's opinion. I want to bring my opinion into it. But I can't do that without trying to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult. But it's easy for me to say, well, if I had no research, if I had nothing, and I had 20 grand, but I know that at the moment, gold, from what I've learned, gold definitely preserves your purchasing power for sure. But I'm not sure about the time period. I would go gold, 100%.
Yeah.
And then there's a bonus, of it might go up in value, but I would have to, and I will keep going back to what does that value mean when you're looking at converting back into cash or fiat, our pounds over a period of time. Has that been eroded anyway? Have you out invested inflation? Have you out invested money debasement? All that sort of stuff, which most people like, well, boring. But it's true. It's so true. It's so true. But then the second part of your question is with my silver. No, my silver that I've got right now, if I would seriously start to think about if we started to get into those high, excuse my voice, those high, and we're talking about exponential conditions, high 70, 80, pushing on to those £100 marks. Yeah, I would look at it as, maybe if I've got an outlet, which I know I have, I might get rid of it, but I would want to know what I'm getting rid of it for. What am I going to push that? Because I would not hesitate. I wouldn't hesitate.
So I should stop looking at it as in like when let me tell you, when I look at a huge big pile of silver, it looks like it's powerful enough to look after me if the shit hits the fan. If I look at it and it's like, yeah, that's enough to sustain me for an extended period. Do you know what I mean? If I was looking at 8 little coins in my hand, I'm like, ugh, that's pathetic. What's that going to do? I know it's the same value, but it's just, I don't know. It's a visual thing, which I guess is pretty dumb if you think about it. That I'm just looking at this lovely collection around me, and it's I feel protected by it. Does that sound stupid? I just feel.
No.
that I've got. If I'd have not got into silver and I'd
Yeah,
have spent all that cash on stupid childish toys as a 54-year-old
yeah,
man, which I would
yeah,
have done because I'm
yeah,
pathetic.
yeah.
I haven't got that safety net. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I've got a bit of a safety net around me. Do you know what I mean? That could
Absolutely.
sustain me for quite an extended period at the moment, and I'm so chuffed to have that. I find it, I find it that it. This is going to sound really dumb. I feel like the silver is cuddling me and keeping me safe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, hundred
And
percent
and it
get it.
and if I had a tiny little thing of coins like this, I'd be like, "Phew, that's pathetic." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've got a really good question for you in a minute, but I really need to go to the toilet, dude.
Yeah, no, you're all right. 365. If you gave me 20K right now, I'd buy an investment property in Liverpool and put the rental income into silver and gold. I'm well into property 365 as well, and I totally concur with that. If you're buying the right properties at the right prices, the worst house on the best street, and put a bit of investment into it, I'm totally with you on that one as well. We were talking a little bit earlier about having a more sort of diverse portfolio. So yeah, I'm totally with you on that, and that's why I've got myself into the old stocks and shares, not in a gambly kind of way, just in the good old safe or relatively safe S&P 500, FTSE All World, and things like that. A little bit of Bitcoin because we know how volatile that can be, and I'm lucky enough that they've all gone up. But yeah, I would if I was talking to somebody about what to do with a certain amount of money. I think property would always be there. There's certainly money to be made in it, and if you've got the right the right team around you, and you've got a good carpenter and plumber and electrician on board, and yeah, it's again, to me, it's a no-brainer. You can overspend. Some people can renovate a property up to a standard what they want and not what's acceptable for the general public, and that's where it can get a bit dangerous, putting your gold faucets in and things like that. But if you just put a good basic kitchen in and a good bathroom and get it up and running, do you know what I mean? I don't know many people. I've got a few friends that are into redeveloping properties and things like that, and they've always done, for years and years, always done really well out of it. Do you know what I mean? Add in bedrooms where they can, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's that there are other parts to my portfolio that I don't necessarily talk about. Because my little TikTok channel is literally just about oh, look, here's some silver, and that's all I wanted it to be about. I may well change, as I said to Andy earlier, with the YouTube channel, and maybe talk a little bit more about other types of investments and things like that. I don't know. Haven't really got that sorted out in my head yet. I'm a bit like Andy in that respect, as in we're not really sure where he's going and where he's going to end up. You know what I mean? Which is quite exciting, really. Not to have that sort of structure in place and just see where you end up. As Andy said a little while ago, just gauging that response from people that watch and see what they say and see if there's any value in it that you can draw out for yourself. Do you know what I mean? I'm very good at listening to other people and what they do, and then picking out the bits that fit best for me, because we've all got different plans, we've all got vastly different budgets, and you know what I mean. You've got to cherry pick all the right bits for you, and not just go blindly into one thing because one particular channel says you must do this. I wouldn't advise anyone to listen to any one channel and base their financial decisions on what they've done. What necessarily works for you may not work for another. Do you know what I mean? And then you could think, well, such and such told me to do this, so I went and put 50 grand into it, and then the market crashed. And you know what I mean? That's where I see the benefit of having a diverse portfolio. But certainly 365, the property would be is certainly an asset that I'm into as well, and can see the benefits in. Cobra, very hard with renting property now with all the restrictions Labour are putting on landlords, making it very hard. Yeah, Cobra, you said something the other night in your chat with Andy, and you said, and you're right. I've said it myself. You know what I mean? This country's going to hell in a handcart at the moment. There's so much stuff going. I never listened to anything. All this, no disrespect to 365, but a long time ago he was always saying CBDCs, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. We're all going to be, taken outside and shot. And I'm thinking, oh, you're just a crazy madman. But when I personally get a letter from my bank telling me that I can only pay in a certain amount and only take out a certain amount, I'm like, who the frig are you telling me what I can and can't do with my money? Do you know what I mean? It's just I couldn't believe it. I I never saw it coming. I never thought about it. I never, do you know what I mean? And that just made me more determined than ever to put my money into precious metals. Do you know what I mean? How dare they control my finances? Do you know what I mean? And ask questions of, why do you want that? Why are you drawing that money out? What do you need it for? Get stuffed. It's none of your business. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Cheeky bugger. Oh, you're back, are you? Sorry, and I was just rambling on
Yes,
this.
mate. No, 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 no. That's really cool. I was enjoying listening to what you're saying.
I'm no expert in anything. I can only ever answer what I've personally seen. Do you know what I mean? I don't
Dude,
put
yeah.
much weight in behind what other people say. I'll listen. Do you know what I mean? But until I've experienced it myself or researched it myself, it doesn't affect me. Do you know what I mean? I only look into something when I know it's going to directly affect me. Do you know what I mean? And when I saw my own bank writing to me, telling me that I could only deposit 250 quid, do you know what I mean? I don't. That was weird, really, really weird. And that was a letter from my bank that I've been with for 40 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's really
100%.
strange. Really, I know. Bullion's had his issues with different banks doing different things and stopping him from spending here, there, and everywhere, and he's moved around. But I'm so loyal to my bank because I was with him, from school. So and I've never had any issues. Never. Anytime there's ever been a problem, it was always fixed. And I got somebody hacked my account and took some money, and they just immediately changed my card and details and put the money back in within 48 hours. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not so sure anymore that they'll do that. Now that they've been, all that responsibility is put back onto the banks. I can see why they're being a lot more careful and blah blah blah. But do they really need to know why I need £500 out of my account? Do you know what I mean? I don't. Somebody else said that they were told that it's because you might have somebody outside who's holding your family member hostage and telling you to draw the cash out. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. It just seems that they are taking once now they've started not attacking me, but now they've involved me and telling me what I can and can't do. Then I'm taking it more seriously, and I'm glad a lot of my cash is sitting here in silver. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
mate, 100%. I mean, again, when you go down the rabbit hole of learning and understanding how the whole banking industry was created, why it is what it is, people need to. They do whatever the hell they want to do, but
yeah.
it is such an advantage if you just stop watching EastEnders, stop watching all the stuff that really we should be entertained by because we all work hard, and just educate yourself. You'll be amazed at what you can learn because
Mm,
your story does not surprise me. That doesn't surprise me at all.
yeah.
100% doesn't surprise me. If you know about the banking industry, then those sort of stories are just what I would expect to hear.
Mm,
100%. Which is why, if anyone's followed what I've been talking about, not that I'm any sort of guru or anything, because I'm just a complete idiot sometimes. I've always said I do not trust fiat currency. I don't
yeah.
trust it 100% because it is out of my control. And if it's out of my control, then why am I putting faith into a system? I know why I'm doing it. But the question would be, why am I putting faith into a system that someone else is controlling and can
Hmm.
affect
Yeah.
what I can do and what I can't do? The flip side of that is, because I now recognize it, I still want to play in that game because I have no choice. But because I know I can obviously start to put other things when I get this, yeah,
Uh-huh.
this cash, other things into place so I can just hedge my bets and say, okay, this is going to collapse, or this is going to do this is going to do that. What's the potential of it? What's the risk assessment of it? What can I do to protect myself? Hence, silver, gold,
Gold investments. Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
I
yeah.
do with companies that are going to improve possibly my existence in the future, my kids' existence in the future, my
Mm.
grandchildren's existence in the future. Is crypto a thing? Is it not a thing? Could it be a player part? What's the pros? What's the cons? All that stuff. All
Yeah,
that.
like I said, I've only ever seen it as a great savings investment, and oh look, it's shiny. And as I said, I'd listen to 365 going on about CBDCs, and I'd be like, oh, what's he on about? Do you know what I mean? It's my bank. It's. I won't say the name of the bank. I don't know why, but I just won't say it. But it's my bank. I've been with them for 40 years, and don't be silly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to
Trust.
see, yeah, it is,
Trust.
it's a huge national bank, do you know what I mean? And it's I've seen the decline in cash usage. I hardly ever use cash at all, which is terrible. We should all use cash, you know what I mean? All this digital ID, as 365 was just saying in the chat there, is basically, the online bank account for CBDCs. And
Yeah.
everything's getting controlled, and we're getting controlled, and we're letting it happen, which is the weirdest thing. That the weirdest feeling I get is that all of this stuff is brought in under the pretense of, yeah, but we're doing it for this, or we're doing it to stop um terrorists and all this kind of stuff. It's not, do you know what I mean? That's what they're saying it's for. But I feel so much more controlled in the last year than I've ever felt in my life. Do you know what I mean? And
Because
they just want us all to be little sheep, all controlled in a little box. We get a certain amount of little feed every month, and that's your lot. And what are you taking that £10 out for? What are you doing? What's going on? Do you know what I mean? And I feel like we're going down that path. Do you know what I mean? And as a society, we're letting it happen, which is quite scary. I can understand why a lot of people are leaving the UK. Do you know what I mean? I really can, and I've never. I'm proud to be British. I talk to many people around the world. You know what I mean? But it's getting more and more. I would laugh at all these countries that were so controlled. You know what I mean? And they're public. They were only allowed to have certain hairstyles, and they can only have. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, poor them. Do you know what I mean? And Britain would never be like that. We're free. But it's not like that anymore. We're not free anymore. We're not. You know what I mean?
we're not free.
No, do you know what I mean? That's quite scary. Do you know what I mean?
We definitely aren't free. But I will say that we can be.
Mm.
We can be free. And that's the whole point. It's really interesting watching the stacking community. Since I've been, everyone's sort of had the right idea, but in the circumstances where it wasn't really apparent that those circumstances were a reality. Now they're becoming a reality. It's bringing questions in. Just, oh shit,
Yeah,
oh shit, oh shit,
it
oh my
should be. It's as
god, oh my
365
god,
365 had just said they're very clever if you're not turned into or tuned into what's going on. And it
absolutely.
is. And a lot of people are close to it. I was close to it. I'll fully admit I was close to it up until 6 months ago. Do you know what I mean? I just wouldn't have any of it. I was like, oh, bloody doomsayers just saying this, that, and the other, and the world's good. But when you experience it yourself, you have to open your eyes to it. You have to do your research. You have to look into it. And I have to ignore all the white noise and all the people who are like, going to the extremes with things. But it's a serious thing. It's real. It's happening now, and
Yep,
people need to be aware of it. As Cobra said, so many people are struggling day to day, don't have time to see what's going on, and
yep,
that's a true thing. A lot of people, with so many people, and Cobra says it, I know he does, a lot of people are living pay packet to pay packet. Do you know what I mean? Never mind collecting silver and gold. Do you know what I mean? They're just getting enough money to put food on the table. And again, as I've said to people, and I know you guys have, if you've got clothes on your back and food in your belly and a roof over your head, you're rich these days. You know what I mean? It
yep,
never used to be like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't feel like it used to be like that, but it certainly is now, with the value of money going down and the price of everything going up and shrinkflation, and pay rises not coming in. And it's not. It's almost embarrassing to be British sometimes. You know what I mean? We used to lead the way. Do you know what I mean? But I don't feel like that anymore. Our mint is shit, and bloody milk spot rubbish, and other mints are embarrassing us all around the world. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's a shame. if I wasn't in the situation where I am with my daughter being at school and being the age she is, I think I would have gone abroad a long time ago, to be fair. Um, but yeah, it's certainly something. If I do get to a sort of retirement age, which is probably very unlikely with my health issues, but it could be that once she's old enough and settled and doing her own thing, that I will go and retire somewhere else. You know what I mean? And there's lots of people take their retirement money and go and live in a much cheaper country. Do you know what I mean? And get more value for their money, type thing. But yeah, people need to open their eyes, know what's going on. And I'm not that kind of person. I'm not one of those people that subscribes to all these things that people are saying in the background and trying to make
Yeah,
you believe this and believe that. Do you know what I mean? You've got to research it yourself. I think it's got to happen to you before you sort of go, oh God, this is actually something that's
yeah.
going on. Do you know what I mean? It's yeah. Yeah, but all of that makes me just more glad that I've got a good lump sum of money not in the bank. You know what I mean? And that shouldn't be the case. I should be glad it's in the bank. It should be in a good savings account, getting good interest. But phew, that free. I know, yeah. Yeah, but that's what
Oh
most
my,
people think. What you're meant to do is
yeah,
earn money,
that,
hopefully have enough money to save, put it in a nice ISA or an investment account somewhere, and forget about it. Let it build up, and then take your little holidays and blah blah blah. But
yeah.
who puts money in a savings account now?
It, it, it's really interesting, that one, Griff, because I've got to be careful what I say. I've had a few whiskies, but um, my wife is very old school, quite rightly so, and I'm pleased she is like that. She's very old school, work hard, save, yeah. And oh my God, I've got to be careful because I don't like to give too much away. We always have a emergency fund sitting in the bank that we try and keep into the highest interest payment return,
Hmm.
because that's something that we I'm 60, she's 61. That's what we've been used to. It comes down to that trust thing. That's all we've ever known until I went down this rabbit hole a few years ago. Um, and she now is seeing the type of returns that me and my son are producing by looking outside the system.
Hmm.
And she now is saying, "Oh, Andy, do we really need to have this money in the bank because it's not doing as well as," I'm not going to say his name, "my youngest son's returning in his
Hmm.
portfolio." You know, even like she is beginning to see the light through the trees, or whatever the expression is. Which, when she starts to say that, I just think to myself, oh my God, the system's really failing people.
Yeah.
And that gives me more confidence to know that, oh shit, we are doing the right thing outside of the system. And whether we like it or not, the system is the system. But if we, I don't know, apply ourselves, if we're lucky enough to be able to apply ourselves in whatever, get that fiat, and what you don't need, get it out of that system, man, because that system is not designed for your benefit ever.
No.
It's never designed for it. Do your research, do your homework. There's some absolutely fantastic channels that you can follow, um, just to open up your mind and realize that what we all thought was fine isn't fine anymore because of a set of circumstances. And maybe we haven't got a crystal ball. We should be doing a little bit more to protect ourselves and limit that risk so that possibly we can be on the right side of the trade, whatever that's going to be.
I would certainly and encourage people to certainly look into it. I know COVID's mentioned about this. I think it's called the white paper, isn't it? Um, I need to have a look at that. I never wanted to go down that path, but you've got to look after your best interests, haven't you, and know where you stand with things and what's going on. And You know, it's took me a long time to open my eyes to it, really, admittedly. Do you know what I mean? But it's, yeah, it's,
The reason why though, Griff, is it isn't until you start to realise what's happening to your pound.
hmm
When you start to realise that, oh shit, why is bread, I don't know, 50p more than what it was 4 years ago?
mm,
Why is our electricity bill 30% more than what it was 2 years ago? Why is my wages, what I want to earn, why hasn't it gone up as much? Why
yeah,
is spending, I mean, it's a great thing, like we talk about the NHS. Why is every year, you hear politicians saying, we're going to put more money into the NHS. Why doesn't it give you better value? And then you look at energy, you look at everything else, and you start to think, oh my God, we're spending so much money, but we don't seem to be improving our lifestyle. What's
yeah,
going on? And then once you raise that question in your mind, what's going on, you start to dig around and educate yourself a little bit. And then you think, ah, shit, this debt, this credit-based system, this not pre, post 1971, come off the gold standard um, situation has had a massive effect over a period of time. How long can that last?
don't know.
And it's those questions. I'm not expecting you to
No,
to uh,
I'm
to
just
answer
agreeing with,
that,
I'm just
but
agreeing with what Cobra's saying about them doing all this stuff, keeping us busy arguing with all these things that are going on with genders and wokeism and racism.
yeah,
You know, while they're sort of getting all these plans implemented around us, and people aren't, people aren't aware of what's going on.
yeah. It's another great thing. Like if I look back through my journey within the community, it was only, I would say, 12 to 18 months ago. Then everyone was talking about, oh, buy gold. Gold's a good option. Oh yeah, I'm gonna change my investment. I'm gonna stack gold. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Who's talking about it now? No one can fucking afford it.
Yeah.
How many videos do you watch about people? Oh, this is what I've bought this week. I've bought another gram. I've bought another 2 grams. I bought like um, 20 grams or 10 grams or whatever.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's because no one's got the frigging money. Okay, that's just in 18 months. So
hmm
what's happened in 18 months? There's the rabbit hole.
hmm I just,
I know it's silence.
yeah, I just,
It's just that. Oh shit! Even in our stacking community, it's. I mean, I've only been involved what 3 years. I don't know. COVID can say like is it 3 years? 365 can say is it 3 years since we all sort of gelled? Back in the beginning of it all. It's a short period of time. Short
mm,
period of. And how has it changed massively? You know,
massively,
every you
massively
know
for me in 2 years.
Yeah,
It's yeah,
I mean, I was only talking on videos a little while ago. Oh yeah, it's really cool to stack 1 ounce of silver a month or a week or whatever. That's fucking 200 quid a month
yeah,
now.
it's crazy, isn't it? Mm.
Whereas 18 months ago,
It was doable for a
doable
lot of people, a lot
for
less
a
so
lot of
now.
people. No, it's not now. So why? And that's the thing I get like a little bit frustrated about. Just it isn't just a case, it's the way it is. No, bloody hell, it's not the way it is. Realize why it is. And then that will help you understand okay, the limited amount of money I've got now, where's the best place to put it? I mean, it might be just like stack a bit of cash and then invest it into something, or it might be a case of, oh my God, we're in a situation that possibly we're at the end of a, maybe a reset coming, or guys are talking about CBDCs, which are probably going to come in. It's all out of our remit, and sometimes we just have to sit there and think, right place, right time, or wrong place, right time, or wrong place, wrong time, or it answers so many questions. Like it asks us so many questions. Really
It's
does.
weird. Yeah.
But that's
I'm
the
go-
beauty of building a community of, all right, mate, it's no problem. Yeah, I've been a bit fortunate, but I understand where you are. Come on, let's just really get to the crux of where he is, so we can all help each other, through these
yeah.
difficult times. And I think that is more valuable than anything else in the world at this moment in time.
Yeah. I've seen that just with the gold. I've seen that, it was only a year and a half ago that if you said to people, "Oh, I bought a gram of gold," they're like, "Oh, you stupid twat! Why would you buy it in that fractional sense when
Yeah,
there's so much premium added to it?" Do you know what I mean? And you should be buying 1 ounces and blah blah blah. But it's slowly come down to quarter ounces and 1/10 and stuff like that,
yeah,
and half sovereigns and things like that. And it's just totally acceptable now to pick up gold in that way. Do you know what I mean? Because I haven't got a clue what it is today, but let's we're heading towards £3,000 an ounce silver, gold, aren't we? And
yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's a huge amount of money to put in a little tiny coin.
yeah.
So yeah, 1 gram is now a normal. That's what people collect now because that's all
That,
we can afford.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
And even they're 100 quid, aren't they? 100 quid plus now. Do you know what I mean? If 365 said they were like 55 quid a couple of years ago, which they were. I wish I'd have bloody bought some, but that was still at the stage where I thought, ooh, 1 grammers, that's pathetic. Do you know what I mean? What's the point in a 1 grammer? Do you know what I mean? But it's
there's a massive point in 1 grammers, dude. There's an absolutely massive point. Someone said to me the other day, they said, "Oh, I'm thinking of just, sorry, I'm going to save my money up for a one for a sovereign, for a full
yeah.
sovereign." So I said, "Cool, man, that sounds like a really good idea. But have you weighed up the risk analysis of the time that you're waiting to earn the money to buy a sovereign against if you had the money to buy 1 or 2 grams of gold now?"
Hmm.
And they went, "What do you mean?" And then we went through the process, and they went, "Shit, I didn't even think about that.
Mm.
Didn't even think about it." I mean, you have a look at. I mean, I wrote down a couple of stats before I come over to do this video.
Yeah.
I mean, gold. I don't know this. I can't believe we've been on for 140 minutes.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
sorry. You can stop whenever you want. Sorry.
No, it's absolutely fine. No, it's really interesting. But before I come over, and 140 minutes ago, gold was sitting at the spot price was 2870 an ounce, which is
2870.
2870, which is £92 a gram, which is crazy. When I was buying a gram at, I don't know, 58 quid, something like
Yeah.
that. Not that
Wasn't
long
that
ago.
long ago. Yeah, not that long ago.
Silver was sitting at 35.40, and that's at £1.14 a gram. I never even thought about silver. We was all talking about, we buy a gram of silver and we'll just give it away in
Hmm.
giveaways
Yeah.
in our YouTube channels. It's £1.14 a gram.
Crazy. We're
That's
going to
fucking
end up. We're going to
ridiculous.
end up buying 1 grammers of silver if things
Absolutely
carry on
ridiculous.
going the way they're going.
On Atkins, I like Atkinson's. I think that's a
Yeah, I
pretty
do.
fair.
I do.
It's a pretty fair, a fair representation of probably the average of what people would, without any knowledge, with knowledge or whatever. Their gold sovereigns, brand new, were 712 quid.
712.
712 for a rose gold sovereign.
Blimey.
Ridiculous. Now, I haven't been in this game very long, and I've been very privileged for me and my son, myself personally, my son as well, to have been talking about, 285 quid a sovereign, 300 pound, 320. That was just a short period of time. Short
Mate,
period of time.
I don't buy a lot of gold, obviously, but I mean, I bought the Coronation Sovereign from
Yeah.
Atkinson's because they were cheaper than the Royal Mint on launch day, and for some weird reason, anyway, they were cheaper than the Royal Mint, and I paid 370 quid for it on launch day, Coronation 2023, and then Ben wanted it from me, and because he had all the other coronation stuff, and he really kept going on about this sovereign. I thought, and I felt guilty taking 560 off him, and I'd made that much profit in just that year and a half, from 370 to 560, and now what are they worth? I'm only talking 8 months ago that I sold it to him. Do you know what I mean? What's that crowned bullion sovereign now? Over 700 quid if they're 700 quid on, or 712 on Atkinson's.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't like rose gold, Jack. That's
But
crazy on one sovereign.
Yeah, but pre-owned, like proper gold, like what we all like, yellow gold. Pre-owned, 705 pound.
705 on Atkinson's, and that's a fair price.
That's a fair price, man.
Blimey.
705 pound. So, and I'll continue it. Britannia, it's a home coin.
Mm-hmm.
Brand new, 2026, £2,947.29 when I wrote that down on Atkinson's.
Okay, so it'd be more the Royal Mint then, with their added things on.
Just under £3,000, yeah.
Crikey.
For an ounce, a Britannia ounce of gold, yeah. A quarter ounce of gold, 774.13, brand new. So it wasn't that long ago. I mean, it's almost doubled in price.
Crazy.
So you've got to ask yourself the question, yes, euphoria, wonderful. If you start thinking in fiat terms, yeah, albeit we haven't sold any of our gold. I'm rich. I've done well. No, that's bullshit. It's bollocks. It's why has that happened? You've got to ask yourself the question, why the friggin' hell? Because that doesn't normally happen. You go back through gold, you go back through its history. It doesn't happen in that short period of time. Yeah, maybe over a long period of time, but that short period of time, what's going on? And then you look into silver, yeah, silver Brit, a brand new silver Brit on Atkinson's. Before I come over here to do this wonderful podcast with you, mate, which I'm thoroughly enjoying, £49.56.
£49.56.
Yeah. How the fuck, excuse my language.
Yeah, you're all right.
Can normal people that haven't experienced that sort of wage increase stack silver?
Yeah.
Yes, we can go to Cobra. Yes, we can go to this. We all know that. But as a rule, I like to look at the average. Yeah, normal person that's just getting into. That's without going to the Royal Mint, because you're going to pay probably a higher premium.
Even more, yeah.
Even more. How do you get into? How do you preserve your wealth? You're fucked, man.
You must be over £3,000 for an ounce of a 1 ounce Britannia on the Royal Mint website now.
I would imagine so.
If Atkinson's are 2.9 something, you know what I mean? They've got to be over 3. So they've already hit £3,000 in their eyes.
Not too far away, I wouldn't have thought. But I haven't looked, because I don't look.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't understand, the economics of things, but I knew, and I'd heard a couple of weeks ago about the dollar losing value, which obviously affected the price as well. And this other thing about lots of countries are now buying or getting their gold back and buying gold and buying silver and
Yep.
I can't, but there you are. Look, 3023 on the Royal Mint website.
That's
3023.
that's ridiculous.
Cray.
My youngest son, is crazy, man. This is oh, I wouldn't say, I want to put 2 years on it. He
Mhm.
bought his first 1 ounce gold bar for 1,498 quid 2 years ago.
2 years ago, 1,400.
1,498, 90. Well,
So we've
1,000.
doubled. Never mind 10 years. We've doubled in 2 years.
Yeah. And
Crazy.
and this is my point. People are obsessed with, oh my God, I've made so much money. No, 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 no. Why has it done that in such a short period of time? Why? What's going on?
Mm.
Because that doesn't normally happen. You tell me, you go back 10 years, 10 years ago, which is 2015. By 2017, have you doubled your money in gold? No,
No.
no. So something else is going on, and that's what we should be aware of. You
Mm.
know, yeah, Cobra's on it. You know?
Yeah.
That's the point, and the difficulty now is that some of the conversations I have with my son now is like, do I expect that same return over the next 2 years? Now, lots of people turn around, and I see it all the time in comments and whatever. Oh, gold will be at 4,000,
Yeah, I've
5,000,
seen that a lot. Yeah.
10,000, 6,000, whatever. And I
Yeah.
just think, yeah, why are you saying that? What are you basing that on? Because in true reality, if that was going to happen, oh my God, your fiat currency is worth nothing.
Mm.
If that's going to happen, if everyone's going to, not everyone, but the big boys are going to flood into the safety of gold because it's historical value, which is,
Hmm.
I totally agree with. What does that mean to the average person? Are your wages going to go up the same? Every year, double, 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 double?
No.
No,
Is it Echo's like?
not at all. It's a very interesting time, very
It is.
interesting, dude. Very interesting time, and that gets back to. Sorry, mate, I don't want to take over the conversation or anything.
No, please do.
That takes me back to, yes, I can put out all this beautiful courtesy. Most of it is courtesy of Cobra, beautiful perfume stuff. But in true reality, is that really doing anything for me?
Mm.
Is it? Is it
I,
really
I
doing
would
anything
never.
for me?
I'll freely admit, it's never entered my brain. I'm sitting here saying to you, "Oh, look, my silver's gone up 80% in 2 years." Uh, it's never entered my head once to think, well, why? What's going to happen? Are we leading up to something? Do they know something we don't know? Do you know what I mean? Is this country going to collapse? Is this economy going to? You know what I mean? My brain isn't wired up that way. My little
Yeah,
brain is wired up. Ooh, it's gone up 80%. Great.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
I'll be totally honest. You know what I mean? I will. But yeah, it feels like something's bubbling up to happen, whether that be good or bad. Probably bad, and
yeah.
you know,
It's like, but I don't know how long ago it was when I bought this collection
mhm.
of half ounce, which are absolutely gorgeous,
Of course they are. The lovely
absolutely,
set that is.
absolutely beautiful. And yeah, it's a very limited edition. It's
Oh, it's wonderful. But I would sit there and I would look at it and just go, it's just half ounce.
Mm-hmm.
Each coin is just a half ounce of silver.
It's nice though.
Yeah, but that's the problem, isn't it, Griff? It's nice, but it's only nice if I can't even remember how much I paid for it. I bought it off of Cobra. Cobra might know, but
I remember, yeah.
it's a beautiful collection, and it's something that I would just sit there and my grandchildren can fucking, admire for the rest of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
But one or two of them, well, any one of them will appreciate it. But in the true reality is, it's
300.
just
There you go.
it's just half an ounce of silver.
Yeah, but there's
Each,
10 of them, so that's 5 ounces.
yeah. I don't disagree. It's just half an ounce of silver each piece.
Oh yeah.
Now, in a climate where money is affluent, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
then the £300 becomes £400, £500, £600, because it's rare. There isn't a lot of them. What is there? I can't remember. Less than 3,000 in the world. Great. But it's no good if people can't afford eggs or bread.
No, true. Am I being fooled then? Am I like, oh, there he is. Oh, we've got him hooked. He thinks they're lovely and colourful and pretty. Oh, there's a
That's
gold gilt one.
that's the farm.
Do you know?
So in the right circumstances, yeah, purely in the right circumstances, when money is affluent, where money has value, where money is what's looked at as a good reference against your time and energy, as value, as what you're providing into the society, then yeah, you'll probably get a good return on it.
Mm.
But when it's not, because it's fucked, excuse my language,
You're right.
because debt, because credit, because of whatever, it just becomes half ounce of silver.
Oh yeah.
So it's circumstantial.
Yeah. I mean,
Totally circumstantial.
I'll give you 300 quid for it now if you want.
No.
I should have bought that at the time. I remember Cobra having it, and I thought, oh, that's nice.
Oh, mate, they're so cool, and they complement all
They
the
do.
108
I do.
versions.
Yeah. I've got those ones. They are nice. I got them off
Totally
Cobra as well.
But I'm lucky. I'm lucky because I don't need to sell them. I don't need to. I've been lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But in true reality, what I do know in the back of my head, if I need to get rid of them quickly, they're worth half ounce of silver.
Yeah.
A big.
Hopefully you won't need to do it as quickly as that. You'll have a bit of a chance to, like you say, go through Cobra or go through somebody else, or somebody will help you with a whatnot auction or whatever, or sell them on Facebook Marketplace, or yeah. Do you know what I mean? I don't envisage ever having to sell my silver to a coin dealer at spot price. Do you know what I mean? That would be devastating. I mean, it's still good with spot price being at 35 quid when I've paid 20 quid for a lot of them. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you'd want the best out of it, wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? You'd hope you'd have a little bit of notice to, because I reckon within a week you could get a huge amount sold within 7 days.
Yeah, but I'd query that as well, dude, because
Really,
yeah, 100%.
I've even
Yeah.
thought about it. I've thought to myself, if the world fell out my ass and I needed to sell, 20 grand's worth, I'd in my head I'd say to Cobra, can we have a special extra auction, please, and sell all my stuff? I'd give him a drink, obviously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but dude, that's this is terrible, really. think about it this way. When I've always said to my wife, when money is affluent, buying and selling is not an issue because people don't think twice. People don't think twice about going down the pub, spending 100 quid, 200 quid. When money's not affluent, yeah, they
Yeah.
will start to think, oh shit, bollocks, I'm not paying that because I want to just save it because I'm not sure whether I'm going to be able to afford this, my electricity bill, my gas bill, my food bill, my fuel bill, my this, my that. It 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 has a massive effect. And if I was to turn around and think to myself, okay, no, sod it, I want to get rid of my Perth, everything you see in front of me, my Perth mint collection. Okay, I'll give it to Cobra. Now, I can say to Cobra, I'll give you 10% of the sale volume.
Yeah.
He might turn around and say, oh, yeah, that's really cool. Or he might turn around and say, it's tight. It's a tight market. I want 20% because I'm going to have to work even harder. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no worries, dude. But what guarantee is it? Because if there's no buyers, it's irrelevant. There's no money. If I think I can sell my, let me just show you. If I think I can sell these 4812 Lunar Series 2 coins for, I don't know, I have no idea. I don't know, a few hundred quid.
Yeah.
But if there's no buyers, it doesn't matter whether I'm selling them for £400, £300, £200. If there's no money around because it's not affluent, it's irrelevant.
Yeah. Do you think we're at that stage already? I don't feel like we are.
Yeah,
Really?
100%.
I still
100%.
feel at the moment that I could sell. I've got friends who stack who are in a good position. I've got the Facebook groups. I don't know. I don't know.
No. If you're living in reality, it sounds terrible.
No, it's
If
fine.
you're living in reality world at this moment in time, unless someone's prepared to give you the best deal ever, and that's at a discount, yeah, to spot price, you are not going to find it easy because people haven't got the money.
Yeah.
Yes, some people have, yeah, but then you've got to target that audience. But as a rule, I have seen that change over 18 months, maybe 24 months. Change.
Yeah.
And I can only, sorry, Griff, I can only gauge that over what my son and my daughter and my other son can afford to do.
Yeah.
Then I listen to my customers. You know, I run my own business. Yeah, they're all saying the same thing. They're holding back. They're struggling. They're finding it hard to. You've said it, you know, a few times. People pay paycheck to paycheck. The comments, paycheck to paycheck. Now, if you haven't got that extra £100, £200, yeah, there is always people that have. But the average starts to reduce when the money system starts to get tighter. So your what's it called? Your risk of trying to sell in a situation that isn't really working in your favor increases.
Oh, undoubtedly. But
Whereas
I
the
still
opposite
think
way round.
even if the the buyers aren't there, there's still the fact that we need silver for industry, and
Yep.
there's a shortfall. Do you know what I mean? I don't think even if you only got spot or just below, do you know what I mean? I still think there's avenues.
100%. Yeah.
You know, to I wouldn't worry about it. Do you know what I mean? I would take my time and still sell. Do you know what I mean? People are still obviously buying and selling, and people still buy from Cobra and all these Facebook groups and the people that I know. You know what I mean? So yes, I would say it's slowed down, and people can certainly not afford what they could afford even 2 years ago.
Okay.
100%. Do you know what I mean? But I don't
Okay.
think it's
I'm
quite
going
as
to push.
doomful as what you think.
I'm
Personally.
going to push on that
Hmm.
because I probably haven't explained it a little bit more. The reason why, possibly, and I Cobra turned around and said, "Don't agree, bro. There are many people buying and selling." Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that at all. There are many people, but there's a price.
Hmm.
There's always a price. Now, there are many people buying and selling, but what is that price? It's all right saying there are many people buying and selling, yeah, but
Hmm.
what are they buying and selling at? Now, there are some people within our community or out there in the community that have conviction, yeah,
Hmm.
on silver's going to go to wherever, gold's going to go to wherever, so they will buy. But you tell me in your little, and I might be wrong here, yeah, I'm only going on my environment, yeah.
Hmm.
How many people, yeah, if I turn around and said I've got 5 or 6 grand's worth of stuff in here, I pull it all for sale right now, 6 grand.
Yeah.
How many people watching this will say it's in your bank account tomorrow, CPM?
It's
I'll tell you, it's fucking nothing.
oh yeah, it's a limited it's a limited market, obviously, but it's still
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not worried. It's I don't feel that at the moment with the level that I'm at. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
feel that even if I sort of broke it up into, a kilo at a time. Do you know what I mean? If I wasn't in that much of a rush, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, if the shit hits the fan, you sell it to a bloody bullion dealer, don't you? And it's gone. Do you know what I mean?
Of
Or
course you would.
for
Yeah.
spot if you really needed it, but hopefully
Yeah.
you wouldn't need to do that. I get that the cost of it all has all gone up way above any line of inflation or anything else. It's gone up disproportionately, obviously. Do you know what I mean? But to me, that's the new price. You either pay that price or you just hold where you are and see what happens. Um, I'm lucky that, and don't get me wrong, compared to a lot of other people, my stack is tiny, but it's certainly at a big level for me that I never thought I'd get to, and takes me into the top 1%, they call it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm quite happily, I've gone way past that now, but it's a nice, for me personally, for my little budget, for my little 2 days a week job that I do. Do you know what I mean? It's
100%.
it's something I never would have had just a couple of years ago. I don't know. I feel like I can't lose when the main bulk of my weight stack was bought at the start where it was £20 an ounce. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't feel like I can lose. Yes, I've paid a lot more for the very recent stuff. Do you know what I mean? We are now creeping up to that, and probably even more now if silver's at 35, 50, whatever it is,
Yeah.
where we're paying sort of 42, 44, 46 quid now for coins, even from like Facebook groups or even from Cobra or whatever, and 50
Yeah.
quid from Atkinson's. I can't get over that. It's going to slow down. But are we just going to get, if it sits at this price now for a couple of months, people are just going to accept it as well? That's the price now. Do you know what I mean? That's what you've got to pay.
Yeah.
I don't see it stopping, and I don't understand the concept of the price goes up, people go buy. It's that always I was like, oh, are they saying that because they think we're now on an upward trajectory, and they need to get in now before it goes silly, or it's a bit strange. My brain would always say, well, just hold off and see what happens, sort of type thing. And am I the one that's losing out? Because if it does go shooting up, I should have had it at 50 quid an ounce, not £100 an ounce. You know what I mean? It's difficult to
Yeah.
know because nobody's got an answer. Nobody can tell me, yeah, fear of missing out, Cobra. Nobody's got an answer. Nobody, I don't believe there's anyone in this world right now,
Nope.
and I don't mean this in a big headed way, that could come to me and say, Griff, what you need to do is this, because in a month's time, this is going to happen, or in a year's time, this is going to happen. No one can. Nobody can, and as everybody always says, you cannot base future performance on past performance. You just can't. You can get a general idea. We can all look at the silver and gold charts over the last year, 2 years, 10 years. Do you know what I mean? And see that, yes, of course, up and down, massive spike, massive drop. We can see all of that, but overall, obviously, gold and silver has generally gone up. Obviously, so no, is it not?
Yeah, 100%, dude.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with it at all.
Mm.
It's so personal. It's ridiculous, really, to be honest. But this is why I like these conversations, dude. My phone keeps flashing up low battery.
Yeah, that's fine. I was going to finish by 10 anyway. We can finish whenever you like. But I don't get the opportunity because I'm a bit thick with all this kind of stuff. It's educational for me. It's opening my eyes to what's going on with silver and gold and the prices and why they are where they are and CBDCs and all the kind of stuff that I've dismissed for a long time. We have to start thinking about. Do you know what I mean? But I would still, even after this conversation, I would still implore people to stack silver or gold, whatever's right for them. Do you know what I mean? It's a weird thing that we're going through, and like you said, this massive build up so quickly is obviously going to be leading to something. I don't know what. I don't know whether it's connected to and I still can't get my head around this gold in Fort Knox being valued at $40 odd an ounce. I can't get my brain around that any way, shape, or form. And a couple of people have tried to explain it to me, and I still don't get it. Why is it valued at that? And if they did revalue it, what the bleeding hell would happen then to the price of gold? You know what I mean? I don't. Yeah, it's all a bit. I need to research more. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand why the gold is valued at whatever it is. Is it $43 an ounce or something?
Yeah, it's less than that, dude.
It's just weird.
It isn't. It isn't, but it is. Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. I don't get it. I need to just Google the shit out of that and just try and understand it if in my own way, because people explain things in different ways, and some people's information is far more assimilable than people's ways of explaining it. Do you know what I mean? It needs to be pretty simple for me to get it in. Once I get it in an easy way, I can then look into the more detailed structures of it. But I need to get it in there first. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm very visual. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once I've learned about something, I'm clever about it. Do you know what I mean? I'm obviously same as anybody else, but I need to learn about it first. And if somebody just comes at me with facts and figures and using big banking terms and words, and I'm lost. Do you know what I mean? I'm lost, and I've lost interest.
It's
Do you know what I
trust.
mean?
It's trust.
Yeah.
We've trusted a system for so long, and it's not quite making sense anymore.
No.
So it makes us
Definitely
think outside the box. I love these conversations, dude. I need a
They're,
weed.
they're great, and that's what I want sort of more for my sort of YouTube side of it. I'm going to keep it off TikTok, keep TikTok how it is, because I love it, and I love it how it is, and it works for me. Do you know what I mean? I know what I'm doing on there. I'm fully confident, 100%. It's my little thing, and I love it. But I'm certainly open to more discussions like this. Do you know what I mean? I'm just fascinated by it. Whether there's one person in or 1,000 people in, do you know what I mean? I'm still happy to talk about it. And having you here is absolutely great. I'm learning all the time. I learn from you. I learn from Cobra. I learn from loads of people. And I'm very late to the party, I'll admit. Do you know what I mean? It's only been in the last sort of 6 months that I've really started to think about, the bigger picture, and not the fact that it's just because oh look, something shiny, like it always has been for me. I
Dude, I
don't.
need a
I've
weed.
avoided it. I've avoided it because I don't want my brain to be soiled in that way. Do you know what I mean? It's just a hobby. It's a great savings thing, and you know what I mean. But you kind of have. Oh, hello. You kind of have to, don't you? You've got to be more aware. of what's going on.
Definitely. I need a wee, dude. I could
Yeah,
be
no
back
worries,
in
buddy. Thanks everyone for coming. Thanks for you coming on in the first place. Thanks. I love it when, you know, some of the great people in the community come in. Cobra Stacker, you know, I love you to bits, mate. Everyone that's come in, thank you very, very much. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for the likes and everything like that. And hopefully I can do some more stuff like this with other people or you again. I'm not fussed. It's been really, really good. Thank you very much. Sorry if I've bored anyone to death or, you know, I've found it enjoyable anyway. But yeah, thank you guys. Really do appreciate it. It's very, very good of you to be here and get involved and join in. And sorry, I haven't been reading the chat. I have been reading the chat, but just, you know, just getting sort of heavily involved in the conversation. But thank you, Cobra. Thank you, BBA. Thanks, Staggy. I promise your stuff is gone. I'll send you a picture in a minute of the tracking thing so you can see. Oh, Silverbank, hello. Nerd, thank you very much. I know you were there in the background as well. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely amazing. I think Andy's gone for a wee, so I might just give him a minute, see if he comes back. He might have, because he's in his little shed thing at the moment, so he might have just gone for a wee in the bushes outside. Who knows? Yeah, really, really good. Thank you very much.
I did go in the bushes.
See, I knew it. I knew it. He's peed on the dandelions.
Oh, absolutely. Go
I
too
was
far.
just saying thank you to everyone in the chat. I really do appreciate you coming on
Yeah,
my
man.
little channel, CPM. Really do. It's nice to be able to hear you talking for a change rather than you interviewing someone. And not that I was really interviewing you, but you know what I mean. Just to be able to put questions to you that I've always wanted to ask and learn a bit as well. You know, every day's a school day as far as I'm concerned. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, man. It just having open conversation, like with people that I can have open conversations with, that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether I agree or disagree. It's so cool because that opens up an avenue of thinking
Mm.
that maybe I just wasn't thinking before. And that's got
Exactly.
to be, that's got to be
It's done it for
healthy.
me. It's done
It's
it for
got to be
me.
healthy.
Yeah.
It's got to be healthy.
Yeah.
You know, not the banks telling me what I want to think, not
No, exactly.
any particular group telling me what I want to think, not any influencer telling me what I think, just a group of people that I trust, believe in them,
Hmm.
individuals, and can learn so much from, and
Yeah.
equally still have a good relationship with, and that's so healthy, man.
100%. You haven't said a single word where I've gone, oh God, I hate Andy now. Do you know what I
Well, it
mean?
doesn't
It's
matter.
nothing. It's
Yeah.
it's not about that. I'm grateful to learn things. I've avoided it. I've hidden it. I've deliberately not wanted to know about a lot of this stuff. You know, because I just want to think about the positive things and the way that silver makes me feel. And that, like I said, about that safety barrier and things like that. I just love it. I don't really want to know about all the crap that's going on in the background. You know what I mean? But now that it's directly affecting me and I'm getting these letters from the bank, I have to open my eyes and realize what's going on. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
yeah,
and
really, 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 really good. I'm so chuffed you came on. I really am, and I hope we can do it. We can do it again in the future. But
oh,
we're just about
100%.
we've just about hit 10 o'clock, which I think is more than enough. We've been yakking away for 3 hours. I can't believe anybody stayed to listen. But it's been absolute. I would have carried on talking anyway if nobody was here. Do you know what I mean? But I honestly, guys, I really do appreciate you, all you little
Man,
legends out there. Thank you very much, and thank you again, Andy, for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
pleasure.
Thanks,
Absolute
guys.
pleasure.
Yeah,
Always up for a conversation.
yeah, I know, dude. I'd like to have a conversation with, as we said, you know, with 3 or 4 of us, maybe Cobra and Ben or whoever else you think
Yeah,
would be good. Because I'm up for a good old. I'd love to be involved in some of the Cobra chats because he's
yeah,
so on my level. I love the way he speaks. I really do. I love the way you speak, dude. You know that because I watch all your stuff and I listen intently. To
yeah,
what you're saying.
yeah,
I might not understand it some of the time, but I certainly give it a try.
yeah. No, I appreciate it, dude. Hopefully it's been a benefit to people. We'll see.
Thank you very much.
Take care, dude.
Thanks, guys. Love you all, and good
See you
night.
later.
Bye.
Bye.